termites. Have they loaded your accounts up with too many risk fees and commissions to benefit them and not you? Let's look at what some brokers do. It's called churning. They have your money. They're going to help you manage your money. Yeah. And all of a sudden, they're making a lot of trades every year, Matt. They've got their fees. The commissions come out. Every time they make a trade, they not only get a trading fee, sometimes they put you in high commission products.
Yes.
And so you see the blue graph here is somebody who doesn't have a churning account. Maybe they've got an account like we talk about, the retirement autopilot accounts or the financial fill-up strategy that has your money grow and then protect your growth and give you lifetime income. Or you could be in this orange type bar. This is where a broker's churning away. You're losing money over the years because you can't keep up. Your return can't keep up with the fees that are coming out. And by the way, every time they take a fee out of your account or any kind of money that goes out of your account, that's money you don't have there the next year building interest. Right. So that's a compounding effect in the wrong direction. We can eliminate these. We can do these every single day. Call me a financial exterminator sometimes. We need to get rid of this, and we can help you. Many times, Matt, tell the folks, it's hard to see that on a statement, isn't it? They can hide the churning many times.
Yeah, absolutely. They stuff it near the back or sometimes very small fine print. So.
Yeah. So here's a question. When's the last time you had a professional review your portfolio? Not a salesperson, but a professional, a true professional, and not somebody who's not licensed in the financial world. Oh, yeah, my brother-in-law, who's a mechanic, said my portfolio is great. All right, well, what's his or her qualifications, right? So we need to make sure we get a quality plan. I write about that in my book, The Big Book on Retirement. You see it right next to me over here. We've got a camera angle right there, Big Book on Retirement. There's a lot of specialized planning that needs to be done, but it doesn't have to be complex. A lot of time, and we don't need big words in the financial world. I see a lot of big words, sort of like the back of a Red Bull. You ever drank a Red Bull beverage? Yeah. These words with all the ingredients in there, some are like 20 letters long. We don't need that. Keep it simple. Do what's right for me and my family. And everyone's happy in retirement.
Hey, Coach, a question from a listener. He says, my wife and I are disagreeing about our pending retirement and how to estimate future returns from our investments. Now, what approach do you think we should use as far as being reasonably conservative but yet still wanting to max it out?
Hey, Matt, do you think people ever argue about money?
Yeah. All the time.
I'll let you. What do you think with that one? That's a pretty good question.
If you want to be conservative, I would go on the low end.
Yep.
Maybe 5-6%.
Yep.
But I think the better way to look at it is maybe see how much you need to mark your standard of living and kind of back engineer from there, because you may already be there.
Yeah, and they may, I didn't hear the word income in there at all, so I don't think they have an income plan. So looking at the balance you have right now, if we can look at what kind of income we could get from certain parts of that balance, we'll show you how much income from the whole balance, and then we'll put 50% of balance, 40%, 80%, whatever, and then you choose what kind of income you'd want. And this is lifetime guaranteed income. This isn't games and gimmicks. This is in writing, the guaranteed minimum. Could always be more, not less. The problem with the stock market model, it could always be more, yeah, but it could also be less. We want something that zero is the worst we can do per year. We want to make sure we have lifetime income from that. So I think if we, like you said, if we reverse engineer into looking at where you are with your money now, what the balance is and where you could be and what kind of lifetime income you could generate, it may make a little sense, and you may have more money than you ever imagined to be able to do everything you want to do in retirement. That takes a lot of the confusion away from planning, and that gets us into the number 9 section here on the how to protect your nest egg, is confusion gaining clarity in retirement planning. And I think that was a really good question to lead right into this, because there is a lot of confusion in retirement planning. How can people eliminate some of this confusion? Get informed.
Come talk to us.
Make sure you deal with a fiduciary planning organization. Now, what does a fiduciary mean? It means we always have to put your needs above our needs. We cannot take commissions out of your money. Very important. There's a lot of people every quarter you're seeing commissions disappear out of your money. Now, if you're dealing with a money management fee, they have a quarterly management fee. That's a little different. That is not included in the fiduciary law, because that is a disclosed fee that's coming out, a management fee they call it. But commissions should not be coming out of your money. We are compensated by financial institutions out of their money, not your money. Very important distinguishing remark right there, because a lot of folks don't understand that, and they're letting someone milk them. And I always say, whose retirement are you funding, yours or your broker's? So make sure you understand what's going out. And a lot of the fees are not disclosed readily, so we can do that analysis, an x-ray of your portfolio, to put you in a better place. And when we get in a better place, when we can see lifetime income, the worry eases away, the confusion's gone. We never want to be confused. You need to always understand. You should be meeting with your advisor at least once a year to understand that roadmap you're on and make sure you're hitting the proper waypoints, we call it. And if not, make adjustments to get you on the right track. We spend a lot of our time, I call myself a financial janitor sometimes, we spend a lot of our time cleaning up messes created by other financial professionals.
Yeah.
You don't have the proper life insurance policy. Maybe you've never heard of the life insurance that has the long-term care, that'll pay for long-term care out of your death benefit. If you haven't heard about that, you really need to hear about that. A lot of people don't know you could have guaranteed lifetime income based on the money you already have put aside.
Yeah.
You may not even have to, you could retire, you may be able to retire yesterday because you have enough money, and you may think you have to work 5 more years.
Yeah.
So let's get the money allocated in the right place. Let's get a plan put together to make sense for you and your family. Let's give you that financial freedom you deserve. Matt, we make available now through the chat box. Request an appointment if you'd like to have your own plan put together. We call it a total retirement plan. About 22 steps behind the scenes we do to take all the confusion and worry out of the financial world for you and your family. Matt, thanks for your time today.
Thanks, Coach.
Look for more exciting webinars like this from the Retirement Countdown series. We'll see you soon.
Talking about the last time we did a show together, the Visionary Engines, and I checked it out at PeteOnDemand.com. I mean, you've got everything from the future benefits predictor to the 401k power illustrator. It's a lot there.
Yeah, Visionary Engines. In other words, you can hypothetically put different numbers in to see what really could happen. You envision things happening. So it's sort of like the old financial calculators, but these are financial calculators on steroids.
Yeah.
You can go to visionaryengines.com or PeteOnDemand.com to get a look at that yourself. It's no cost or obligation for these calculators and Visionary Engines, and it really does put you in control. It's good to see, Dave. I mean, if you do certain things, what could happen, right? Hey, I'm Coach Pete D'Arruda, president of Capital Financial. Folks, the financial world is very, very confusing. That's why we put together a series of educational videos called webinars. You can see them at any time by signing up at CoachPete.com. We'll see you there.
So, people use the traditional 4% rule, like taking money out of a diversified portfolio. What are some of the risks with that?
The 4% says you can take 4% of your balance out each year, supposedly, and be okay. Have about a 92% chance of not outliving the money. But Tommy, if I got on a plane and the pilot said, "Hey, everybody, we're getting ready to go to New York City today. We've got about a 92% chance of landing safely." Yeah. I'd be that guy. A couple of years ago, the flight attendant freaked out, pulled the chute, and grabbed the 6-pack and went down the side. That would be me. Because, I mean, I need 100%. When we're talking about money, there's no excuse not to have 100% safety and security for money we need for our future.
Yeah, especially with the mortality credits of some of these guaranteed lifetime income annuities. They can pay out huge payout rates that you can't get from bonds or
Well, and then you won't run out of the money. And so we've seen 6 and 7% payout rates compared to that 4%, and the 6 and 7 are 100% guaranteed to always be there.
Yeah, and people who are in their 70s and 80s can get 8, 9, 10, 11, 12%.
Dead and financial fill-up strategies right there.
The older you are, the higher the guaranteed payout.
Exactly.
Welcome into our series, Tax Savvy Retirement. That is the latest book by best-selling author Coach Pete D'Arruda, who's sitting here with me. I'm Thomas Lipscomb. We're going to be going through all chapters of this book that are meant to, we talked about this, you've talked about this in your big book on retirement, Financial Safari, properly setting up all aspects of your retirement plan as you head into retirement. And this is specifically for taxes.
Well, unfortunately, taxes are a big part, positive and negative, of a good retirement plan. So if you have your tax situation under control, it's a positive situation.
Yes.
If tax situation's out of control, it could be a huge negative, and not only for you, but for your next of kin. When you pass away, you want to make sure that they're inheriting something that's nice, not a tax time bomb. So we go through that in the book. There's a lot of different tools and techniques here, and just ways to identify the tax situation you're in now, but also how to minimize that going forward, the tax planning, looking ahead to protect your behind for the tax man. And so we broke it down pretty simple in this book. It's over 200 pages.
Yes.
You received it. Now what, right? So you get the book, it's sitting there. We don't want it to end up on a bookshelf gathering dust when it could be used to help you right now.
There you go. Yeah, that's very true.
That's why we wrote it, to help you now, later, and forever.
There you go. And it's so great. We cover everything from charitable distributions to basic, I want to bring up this example. One of our co-hosts here, Bruce, had a friend who decided to take his 401k out because he wanted to roll it over to another company, and he didn't do it in the right amount of time and suffered one of the big things we discuss in this book, which is a big old penalty.
Bruce brought that up to us during a radio show. He said, I have a friend.
Yes.
Yeah, I have a friend.
You hope it's a friend, right?
And he told us what happened, but he told us way later than he should have. I mean, his friend should have told us before he did it. We could have given him some free advice here of things not to do. He did exactly what he shouldn't have done, but he didn't know any better.
There you go.
And that happens a lot of times. But you have 60 days when you take money out of an IRA to put it back into a different IRA or put it back into that same IRA. But he took that money home and didn't put it anywhere for like 90 days. And right away, he was young too, by the way, so he owed a 10% penalty on the money. You take money out of an IRA before 59, it's a 10% penalty. You don't get that back. Plus, all that money becomes taxable, and you have to pay tax on that. So he whammied himself. It cost about 40% of that money disappeared in taxes and penalties.
Wow, incredible.
Yeah.
We have got 245 pages of content to discuss that can help you mitigate things like this, prevent them from happening, start asking the right questions. So folks, stay tuned. But I do want to let you know, maybe you're having a hard time getting through the book. Maybe you're someone like me who drives a whole lot. The audiobook is available at CoachPete.com. Freely available. Just head over and you can download your copy of it. But even more than that, if you already know that taxes are an issue, you know that you need to get a handle on them, and you want to talk to Coach Pete's fiduciary team just to get that aligned with your goals and your plan in retirement, the time to act is now. We're going to make this opportunity available at the end of every video, but call in, set up that discussion with one of his fiduciary planners so that you can be on the right track for this really beautiful time of life.
Let me give you a life hack here. Download the audio at CoachPete.com. Look for the Tax Savvy Retirement audio.
Yeah.
Play it while you're looking through the book.
That's good, yeah.
It really helps you remember things more when you have somebody reading it to you,
Yeah.
but you see that we've got a lot of diagrams in the book too, and so it helps you understand a lot better. And you can take notes in the book with a pen. Make notes in the book. This is your book, folks. You don't have to, remember we weren't allowed to write in our books back in the day. You
Yeah,
get in
school,
trouble with your parents. You can write in this book. It's your book. It should be a reference book, not a book that just sits on the bookshelf. So have fun, and look forward to seeing you every single week with a different chapter summary as we go forward.
Love it.
This big game, every move counts. Plan wisely to win the match. Sidestep the unexpected and charge towards your goal. Navigate through the challenges. Retirement is your end zone, and the touchdown is within reach. A successful retirement is your championship. Let Coach Pete design your customized income game plan today.
Not all cryptocurrency is like a meme coin. There are some functional coins, like we said, Bitcoin, Ethereum. Solana, XRP, which is Ripple, Nano. These are transactional coins. These help you move assets from you to somebody else in exchange for something.
There you go.
And so you really have a value. They have a value just like our US dollar does. And so it's acceptable currency. Whereas, what are you going to buy with fart coins?
Right. It's freedom.
Or the Hot Tua coin, or the Trump coin. And
There's all the different
they do a
ones,
name and then they pump it up. It is like the penny stocks.
It is.
With no value. It's sort of like that movie, The Wolf of Wall Street. They were selling junk. That's junk too.
I want to start with REITs because there may be a lot of people out there who don't even know what a REIT is. So a real estate investment trust.
It's a group of investors get together with a manager who can't buy a skyscraper individually, but they pool investors' money together and buy big things like that, shopping centers. So that's what they use to show you how great it is in these very glossy brochures, and they do dinner seminars too for non-traded REITs. So let's do a non-traded REIT first. A non-traded REIT is it's not listed on the stock exchange yet, so it's not traded. So you put money in, the only way you can get it out, the money out, is if that becomes a tradable REIT. Now, they sell it on income. They say, hey, we're going to get income as long as we have 90 or 95% occupancy of our shopping center. Everything's going to be fine, or you're going to get a great return. What's happened the last few years? Do people go into work a lot? How many of them are sitting with maybe 50% occupancy? Now it's not making enough money to even pay the bills. The building, like the non-traded REIT people are on the hook for the big mortgage payment for these big skyscrapers. So then what happens is they are forced into bankruptcy, these non-traded REITs. Now, I want to get to that. Let's put a pause button here. Let me tell you what a traded REIT is. You can look up traded REITs on the internet, and these are basically symbols that you see in the stock market. You can buy it today and sell it tomorrow afternoon, or you can buy it at 10 and sell it at 10:05. Some pay a dividend. I like dividend stocks. That means you're getting paid to take a risk. And yes, it's risky because at any time you buy a stock, it could go down, right?
Yeah.
That's a traded REIT. Now, the non-traded REITs, you're at the mercy of the company behind it. And here's some breaking news. As of February 3rd, 2026, and here's one of the companies that's been peddled like crazy around this area, Inspired Healthcare Capital has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. This follows a period of significant instability starting in July 2025. Which includes suspension of distributions. All investors' distributions and new offerings were halted in 2025 of July. So if you had a broker pushing it to you and they sold it to you after July, there's some really bad stuff going there. But SEC investigation right now is underway, and legal action, numerous lawsuits and FINRA arbitration claims have been filed by investors alleging misrepresentation, unsuitability, and breach of fiduciary duty due to the high fee structure and then the loss of principal that happened after that. So these were sold, Thomas, the people that I've talked to that got led down this path, they were sold as a safe investment. There's nothing safe about a non-traded REIT. We're not going to spend the whole show going through this, but if you have a non-traded REIT and you want to have somebody, in addition to the broker who sold it to you, tell you about it, give us a call, because the broker who sold it to you is going to tell you all good things, and don't worry, because they're worried about being sued right now. One of the things they're using to sell these a lot of times is they're selling long-term care facility non-traded REITs. And they're trying to say, well, look, everyone's going to the nursing home. But a lot of these, after they get the money, they still don't build the facility. Let's say you had $1.5 million, okay? And they recommended you put $1.2 million in a basket of, let's say, 4 or 5 non-traded REITs. And they sold it to you where you're going to have all the income you ever need from these non-traded REITs because they're going to pay you blank, blank, blank. And you get in there, and a year and a half later, after you've been getting a little bit of payments, the payments stop. And not only did the payments stop, you can't get your principal back. They don't cover this when they're selling it to you. And I've always said, if an investment has to be sold to you, you don't need it. You should want something. Like when we meet with folks, they want lifetime income they can never outlive. They want insured guarantees. That's why we offer those. Let's say that when you put in $1.2 million, so when you get your statements, he puts them in 4 or 5 different REITs. So you have to add the numbers up to your initial statement showing what you put in. And it comes back at $1,050,000. Wait, you put $1,200,000 in. Now your balance shows $1,050,000. You've lost $150,000 just by putting the money in because guess what? Somebody reached in and took a bunch of commission out. Don't make that mistake. Stay away from non-traded REITs. It really, I'm going to use a word, it pisses me off that somebody's out there doing this, Thomas, because, I mean, I picture what if your mom, what if that happened to your mom? What would you do? You'd want to find somebody. You'd want that.
I'd be
exploited.
furious.
And you can't claim ignorance as the person selling it because if you don't know what you're selling, you shouldn't be selling it to begin with, period.
I agree.
Same thing with managed money. A lot of these managed money guys are selling mutual funds inside their managed wrapper. So they're charging you a management fee, and then the mutual fund company also charges you a management fee. Wouldn't you want to insure your income and not give it to these guys peddling these non-traded REITs? The only retirement you're insuring is your brokers when you give them that money because they're taking money right out of your money. I am really adamant and really ticked off about what I've seen this week. And this gals who are doing it, they should be ashamed of themselves. They should be ashamed of themselves, and they should get back onto the insured money methods and not offering these junk products they're selling to people that are unsuspecting. And they get them with a little folksy attitude when they go in, and then they get screwed into the investments like this. So be very careful, folks. There's a lot of games and gimmicks out here, and it's all designed for the broker to make money instead of you. And I always say, whose retirement are you funding? Yours or your broker's? I can 100% confidently say we've helped every single person that I've ever met with in my life because we put them in lifetime income strategies. I am a retirement income certified professional. If you want a review of your portfolio, the best time to find out if you're in the wrong places right now, give me a call. For the next 10 of you, we'll sit down with you and go through Coach Pete's Power Plan, which talks about insured lifetime income and no games and gimmicks. And we are a fiduciary team because we stand behind everything we do, and we treat you just like we treat our own parents.
All right, you pretty much have a book for everything. So how do we find your books? Where do we find them at? Where can I get a copy of all of them?
Yeah, the beautiful thing is you can go to Amazon and pay for them, or you can go to CoachPete.com, and all our books, or most all my books, are there as a PDF. So you can download them. And then we have a video series that goes along with the books that I feel the important books we have that will go through each chapter and tell you why it's important to read them and what you're going to learn there. Sort of like a cliff note, a video cliff note version, Amanda, on the video series. So once you get the book, we're going to start sending you a new video every week on each chapter, chapter 1, 2, 3, and up to whenever it's done. And then we have a summary of the whole book. So this is a good way. That way the book just doesn't sit on the shelf. It gets put to use. And most of my books are great reference manuals. So you can do it yourself for your own retirement plan, or I can help you guide you the rest of the way.
How do you determine the topics that are going to be included in your financial books? Because you have, financial termites, you've got tax-savvy retirement. How many books do we have?
Well, I've got 20 books now. And so
The big book of retirement.
The big book on retirement, that's the biggest book. No, it's not. The Through the Years book is the biggest book. So we went from 1909 all the way to 2024 and told you relevant facts and the same facts like inflation, what the stock market was, what a car costs for each year. So it's fun to go back. I used to get these birthday cards that said, you were born in 1966. Here's what a loaf of bread costs. Here's what milk costs. Here's a famous car, the famous actors.
Yeah.
We do the same thing with the Through the Years book.
1985.
Okay.
And we've got cost of living, and I'm looking at 56 cents for bread, milk $2.26 a gallon, gold $327 an ounce.
Wow.
What is it now?
Over 5,000.
Oh,
right around there. It's crazy,
gosh.
isn't it?
Mortgage was 12% interest.
Well, yeah, those are hard. That's a big one there. But houses were a lot lower in price.
That's nuts. I'm looking at this gold number, and I'm wishing I would have invested in that.
Yeah, I wish you could, but you know, it bounces around, and it's good to have a little bit of gold at all times. It's good to have a good portfolio, a proper balance, and have that total retirement plan. The reason I write books is that people ask me questions, and I said, well, a lot of people ask the same question. It's time to write a book.
Okay.
So my big book on retirement shows you how to have lifetime income you can never outlive and design the right plan for the whole life for you and your spouse. So the next 10 people call, we'll put together for you your very own total retirement plan, and you'll get my book, the big book on retirement, when you come in.
And welcome back into our series on the Tax Savvy Retirement book by Coach Pete D'Arruda. I'm going to say one of your latest books at this point, because I'm sure by the time somebody might watch this, you could have another one out.
19 books now.
19.
So we've got to get a 20 out there, right?
We have to
stop at 20 at least.
We have to.
Maybe it'll be 30 by the time I get done. But
yeah.
I keep saying it, this is going to be my last book, and then I say, well, there's so much other information that people need, especially when it relates to taxes and retirement and how to minimize taxes, how to understand taxes, and how to put taxes on your side instead of against you.
And that's what this chapter is all about, understanding the tax landscape in retirement. So let's take a deeper dive into this. What is kind of the point of this chapter, understanding the tax landscape, and what are some key takeaways that you think people should focus on?
When you think of landscape, I picture like one of the first pictures I saw of the moon. That's the landscape of the moon. It had little hills, and it also had valleys and craters and stuff. So you don't want to fall into a crater or a trap door you don't realize. And so understanding things ahead of time can really help you navigate taxes and retirement in the future. And so knowing some of the simple rules that are out there, like we talked about in the intro, if you have an IRA and you're under 59.5 and you take the money out, you're going to owe a 10% penalty right away and taxes on that money if you don't put it into a brand new IRA. So be very careful. Most planners can help you get from one IRA to another without any penalties or proof on your behalf that you really did it, because it's all electronic. From one financial institution to another, it's already done, so you don't have to worry about the IRS getting mad at you. So that's really one of the keys that we go forward to. We talk about in the book a lot, is keeping the IRS on your side, not against you.
I like that.
Using the rules in your favor.
That's good. You know, something else that is discussed here is the Secure Act, and I'm sure a lot of people may have heard this in the news. They weren't really sure. Maybe you know a couple of things of how it could affect you, but the Secure Act, this was a pretty big change for the retirement landscape.
One of the big things here is there used to be something we would recommend called a stretch IRA.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
and they took it away in the Secure Act.
They did.
Stretch IRA said, hey, I've got an IRA here, a big amount, let's say, and I'm going to pass away, and I know I'm not going to use all that money, so let me leave that money to my, let's say, my granddaughter, who would be 10, maybe we'll say she's 10 years old when I die at 80, right?
Right, yeah.
And so she inherits my IRA, and now she doesn't have to pay tax on that. She inherits it, and then she has to take out just a small amount of money each year in that IRA, and it continues to grow for her lifetime. They took that away in the Secure Act. You can only do that for 10 years now. So when you die, your granddaughter can only get 10 years and bigger payments, which are more taxes. So that's what the government wants to make taxes. Again, the stretch IRA is not what it used to be. But again, there's some other ways out there to help you on taxation. So some life insurance policies sometimes make more sense because you can leave a tax-free death benefit to your next of kin, using your money in your IRA to arbitrage into the life insurance policy to turn it back into tax-free. So there's a lot of creative ways we can put a plan together that makes sense. And that's why we offer a no-cost consultation. By the way, you got the bookmark in the book has a golden ticket.
Yes.
But you can also call anytime you see us on this video. We've got the CoachPete.com, where you can call the number you see right on the screen to request a consultation with my team to put a total tax and retirement plan together for yourself and your family.
Folks, do it right now. Call that number you see. There is so much power that goes into Coach Pete's total retirement income plan. Start yours today and stay tuned. Chapter 2 is coming right around the corner.
Hey, I'm Coach Pete D'Arruda, president of Capital Financial. Folks, the financial world is very, very confusing. That's why we put together a series of educational videos called webinars. You can see them at any time by signing up at CoachPete.com. We'll see you there.
Social Security is one of the backbones of retirement planning and relied upon by millions of Americans every month. So why do we keep hearing that Social Security is in trouble? From its inception, Social Security helped establish the very idea of widespread retirement in the U.S. and allowed Americans to enjoy their golden years without fear of slipping into poverty. What are people saying now about the state of Social Security?
It's funny when we talk about Social Security, depending on who you listen to, it's either going out of business tomorrow or it's going to be here forever. I'm more of an in-between kind of person. Now, some of the numbers say 2034, it's going to go bankrupt or whatever. That's all for worry's sake. Congress is never going to let that go down. I mean, no one will vote for a congressman again if they let Social Security go away. So there's always going to be a stopgap kind of measure. My opinion is to make Social Security more of a means-based system. Now, what does that mean? Well, that's mean to anybody who has money. It says if you already have money, you're not going to get any Social Security or you get a reduced amount. To me, I don't think that's fair. Many of us, or most of us watching this video, have put money into that system 30 or 40 years, and now you're telling me I can't get any of that money back? It's not going to make people happy. But in order for it to survive, they're going to have to do something. Well, number one, Congress needs to stop reaching into the Social Security Trust Fund and using it for things other than Social Security. And some people watching may not like this, but anyone who's never put money into the Social Security Administration or they're not a U.S. citizen does not deserve a penny of the Social Security I put aside.
I know that these changes can be scary to talk about, but let's get it out of the way. What are some measures you can take to prepare if Social Security went away or was minimized?
The average person thinks that we can control the safety and security and longevity of the Social Security system. To be truthful, we have no control over that. It's up to Congress to do what they're supposed to do and not minimize our benefit that we were depending on. A lot of people are depending on that for a majority of their core account in retirement. The core is the money that can't go away. It's always there producing income. Another part of the core is we use lifetime income annuities for that too, to give that certainty, knowing that you're going to have that peace of mind, you're going to have the check every single month for the rest of your life in retirement. I think there's plenty of places that our government blows money on, billions of dollars a year, they could cancel and put that money into Social Security. So Social Security is never, in my opinion, never going away, but don't depend on it for all your retirement income.
And now we are entering our Social Security viability lightning round. I'll give Coach some potential solutions for Social Security viability, and he'll shoot back with his thoughts. First up, raising the retirement age.
65 is what we always heard. Now it's 67 for a lot of people, 68, 69. And so that way, that reduces the amount of burden on the Social Security Administration to pay because you can't get it until a certain age. Now, you can still get it now at 62, and that's still available. So maybe they'll take that away. I don't think they should, but they're floating every single idea out there. Raising the retirement age, that's what it would mean. Maybe instead of 62 to 70, it'll go 65 to 73, that kind of thing. So we're going to see some changes, which I'm in favor of as long as they can guarantee that they're not going to tamper with anyone's Social Security income in the future.
Next, what if we raised the payroll tax?
This doesn't make anyone happy. Raising the payroll tax, they do that every single year, it seems like. There used to be one number coming out for Social Security and Medicare. Then they separated it, and you see the Medicare number keeps growing, their tax price. They're going to keep increasing that, and they probably will. They'll increase your payroll tax. You're going to pay a lot more money to get a whole lot less benefit.
All right, now break down means testing.
Means testing is just a way for them to reduce or eliminate payment to people that they claim can afford retirement without the Social Security. Is it fair? Heck no, it's not fair. You put that money away, you deserve it back.
What if Social Security were put into higher yielding assets?
This has been floated for years. The problem is the quote unquote higher yielding assets. To get a better return, what do you usually have to do? You usually have to sacrifice safety. So if you have promised or they're trying to get a higher rate of return, they could end up with a lower or a negative rate of return on that. So conservative money management for your Social Security trust fund account, again, that's part of your core money in retirement. They shouldn't tamper with it. They should not take more risk. I've heard other rumors where they wanted you to give you the ability to invest your own money on yourself. They'll never do that because government likes to control that money too much.
And what if we had some sort of universal basic income?
This one basically is communism. It's basically saying everyone's going to make the same amount of money and you can't get more than that. I don't agree with that one at all.
We've talked about a lot of what-if scenarios, and it can be nerve-wracking. What can someone do today to secure their retirement?
The most important thing, Congress is going to be battling every single day of our lives, back and forth, blaming each other. The money world's going to go up, down, all around every day. The market will be up, the market will be down. Kramer will be going wild on TV. The secret to you is don't live outside your means. Know what your spending is going to be needed, what kind of money you're going to need in retirement. Make sure you have enough money put aside in your core account that's going to give you a lifetime income. Most people I talk to don't have any idea about what an income plan is and how it can give them lifetime confidence because you get lifetime income. So all the things together, I don't agree with trying to minimize your expenses. I'd rather have you try to make more money or have a better stream of income so you can do all the things you want to do in retirement. We work 30 or 40 years. We put aside money 30 or 40 years for a vacation, a lifetime vacation called retirement. It's also 20, 30, even 40 years of unemployment, otherwise known as retirement. So we need to have our own unemployment insurance, which is a true retirement income plan. We cover that in our 22-step total retirement plan.
That's right, folks. You need a retirement plan that can stay afloat no matter what happens in the economy, in politics, or anything else. We want to help you put together a plan. Coach Pete and the team at Capital Financial can help you navigate the financial world to get you where you want to be in retirement. Take advantage of the no-cost, no-obligation financial review to understand the ins and outs of your retirement plan. A customized plan based on your wants and needs. Contact us today. Also, be sure to like this video and subscribe to this channel for more retirement help.
Here we are, the big book on retirement, chapter 1. It's all about picking the right coach. I'm Thomas Lipscomb here alongside the coach, Coach Pete D'Arruda, the author of this great book that hopefully you're getting into. I did want to bring this up too, since we're at the beginning of this walkthrough. Maybe you're having a hard time getting through the book. You don't have enough time to sit down and read.
It's a big book, so it might be intimidating, but we did make the print pretty big, so people like me who usually need reading glasses don't even need reading glasses.
There you go. And for people like me who drive a little bit, the audiobook audiobook is available. So if you want to head over to CoachPete.com, grab that audiobook. It's another great way to listen through the content. But let's talk about picking the right coach. This is chapter 1, so a little bit important, I would imagine.
Well, you know, you watch some sports on TV every now and then. You hear about these teams, and sometimes the teams aren't that good, so they get rid of the coach.
Yeah.
And they hire a new coach, and the same players start playing a lot better.
Interesting how that works.
So having a good coach in the financial world can put you in control of your retirement. That's what we're talking about. So if you're not really sure if you're on the right track, or your current advisor isn't giving you what you think the attention you deserve, or putting you in the place you deserve to be in, then get a second opinion. Maybe get a new coach, but have a review. Have your current plan put against what's currently out there and see if it matches up.
Yeah.
And so that's what we do a lot of. We do game planning. We say, well, here's where you are right now, but if you change 1 or 2 things, you could be way up here without it costing you any money, just by moving things in the right places. So again, it's about having, we've all put those puzzles together before where you dump them out thousands of pieces, but some people can put them together really good and other people can't. I had a dream where I actually did the Rubik's Cube.
Oh, nice.
I did. I dreamed last night. It's just coming to me now. You remember your dreams?
Yeah, sure.
No idea what that means. If you're a dream analyst, maybe you can tell me what it meant when I actually solved the Rubik's Cube. And I had the little pattern in my head and all that.
Yeah.
And I woke up and, I'll never be able to do it. But both my brothers could do the Rubik's Cube. I could never do it. But retirement doesn't have to be a Rubik's Cube.
Yeah.
Or maybe it is, but if you get someone who understands it, they can align it just right for you. So it's about making sure that your goals and aspirations and ambitions match up to what your plan is going to do for you in the future.
There you go. Important points to be looking at, and I think this is why we like to start off that review process with a second opinion. This is an important time in people's lives. It is similar to I think a doctor's visit where you find out something big, a pregnancy or something. You may want a second opinion if there's a disease in play, just to make sure, am I following the right procedure and protocol?
Let's say you don't feel that good. You go to your doctor, he says everything's fine. Maybe you want to go see another doctor and make sure everything really is fine.
Exactly.
Same thing in the financial world. And it shouldn't be confrontational. It should just be putting you in the right place and doing the right thing for you. Maybe the current advisor is not specializing in taking you all the way through retirement. Maybe they did a good job of building your accounts, but now we need to preserve it and we have lifetime income we can never outlive on it. We specialize in that. That's why we call it the Big Book on Retirement.
There you go. So folks, get your second opinion. Reach out to Coach Pete and the team. As we go through these chapters, there are going to be questions that come up. So go ahead and connect with the fiduciary team so that we can begin walking through this process, and we will see you in chapter 2.
You yourself have made yourself successful because I don't know if you want to share with the folks watching, but you have a lot of annuities yourself and you set those up for streams of income. How many incomes do you have?
Yeah, I have 13 annuities. Most of them are Roth IRAs.
Yep.
I don't sell annuities. I buy them. Right? And I've got some that start at age 60, some that start at age 62, some that start at age 65. Most of them start whenever I want. And so I'm guaranteed to have increasing tax-free income for the rest of my life. And that's what I encourage people to do, because we're approaching 40 trillion in debt. I mean, our interest on our debt is more than the defense budget for the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, Space Force. It's unbelievable. And so I think getting yourself in a position to get as much tax-free income is important, and the multiple streams is very important.
We call that a laddering strategy, and anyone who's watching can get one. Like, if you don't have a laddering strategy, if you don't have income, you really need it. Get an analysis, get a free review, get an x-ray of your portfolio. CoachPete.com is people go there, CoachPete.com, you can find out a lot of education on your own, and then if you're interested in finding out more advanced planning, let us know.
Yeah, and it's free.
This big game, every move counts. Plan wisely to win the match. Sidestep the unexpected and charge towards your goal. Navigate through the challenges. Retirement is your end zone, and the touchdown is within reach. A successful retirement is your championship. Let Coach Pete design your customized income game plan today.
All right, I'm not sure what kind of strategy this is, but I just saw this and I have to ask you about it. What does cash dragging into mutual funds mean?
Cash dragging is just basically, I picture using your mouse and you drag it from mutual cash over to the mutual fund.
Okay.
Put it in there. It's just dollar cost averaging into mutual funds.
Okay.
So instead of putting all the money you have at one time into a mutual fund, you take that money, divide it in 12 little packets, and once a month you put in 1/12 into the mutual fund. Why do you
Okay.
do that? Because the mutual funds go up and down in price. You do what's called dollar cost averaging, which equals out the curves. In other words, smooths out the curves, so you're not buying too high or too low. You're in the middle all the time.
See, that's why this is what my Ryan would say at this point. Just handle it, Coach. You just handle it.
Yeah.
I don't understand any of this. That's why you have to call Coach.
Well, there's 22 steps in our total retirement plan. That's one of them. But call now. We'll do it for you at no cost or obligation. All 22 steps to get you on the right path.
Welcome back in. We've got a series going called Women and Money, and luckily we have some women here, in addition to Coach Pete. Where do you think, or when is the most important time for women to start paying attention to money or to start saving money, Coach?
Well, at any time, but it's one thing. A lot of us say starts in college or right out of college, but that's not even anywhere close on the priority list, is it?
No,
not close at all.
I know we read these articles and they say, "Dylan, just start to have $50 a month." Well, you're not even thinking about that back then.
No, because that's nails,
I actually bought. I saw in the USA Today newspaper back in the. Remember the newspapers?
Sure.
Back in the day, they had the. I always looked at the want ad stuff, and back there, or the classified ads they called them. There was an ad back there, and it was only ran one day, and I just happened to be traveling. Every time I traveled, I got a USA Today. That was the funnest thing to get when you're traveling before the cell phones.
Yes.
So it's full color, all that. But a little ad that said, invest in the IPO like the big guys, but right here. So if you could get 33 shares of Boston Beer Company for 10 cents a share, or $10 a share. So it's $330. I wrote a check. You could only get 33 shares, but that. It's $10 a share. It ended up going to like $400 a share.
Oh, wow.
And it was paying all sorts of dividends and everything.
Nice.
So it turned out a good thing. So, and then I did some dividend reinvestment programs. So if you're just starting out and you're saying, Coach, I want to start saving somewhere. Well, number one, 401k at your work if you want. A lot of times they offer the Roth option. If you're young, do the Roth option. You don't get a tax write-off, but it builds tax-free forever.
You bet.
You come out so much further ahead if you have 20 years or longer to hold that money in a Roth than a regular one. Now, a lot of people like that immediate tax deduction, so they put money in the regular 401k. They get to write off a little bit of the money they put into the 401k. The problem is all that money is going to be taxable down the road, including the growth.
Yes.
So would you rather have growth with no tax or growth with tax? Of course.
Definitely no tax.
And so, but save somewhere. I did dividend reinvestment programs. I still do. There's a good mutual fund or ETF. Vanguard has VOO, which is the S&P 500. These are good places to start. And they can take a little money every month and dollar cost average in, and it's a good way to start. But I really think by the age of 40, you need to start thinking about saving some money. Because now you still have 25 years
Serious
to
How
65.
do you deal with people that are coming out with these massive amounts of student loan debt?
Yeah. Well, you got to treat it like another payment, like a mortgage payment. And so depending on what the interest rate is, now if you have a high interest rate, you want to pay that off quick. Because if you have a 10, 11, 12, 13% credit card or student loan interest rate, maybe credit cards up to 29%, every dollar you pay into that to pay it down, you basically make 29% because you're not having to pay it anymore. So if it's 29% interest and you're paying it down quick, you're making 29% by not having to pay that interest anymore. So you don't want to start saving until you get those big bills paid. But if you have a home loan, maybe it's 4%, 5% interest, just treat it as a mortgage. Like it's you don't need to pay it off. But save some money on your own. So pay your house off, maybe put a little extra towards principal. I don't know, a lot of people don't realize this, but if you have a 30-year mortgage and you decide to pay one extra mortgage payment a year,
You bet.
you can
Yes.
divide it by 12. You take your payment, divide it by 12, just give a little extra towards principal. You'll get a 30-year loan down to about 23 years.
That's
amazing.
amazing.
It's great,
Yes.
isn't it?
Yep, it's
And
absolutely
so
amazing.
15-year down to about 12 if you pay a one extra payment a year. So that's easy to do.
Yeah.
And so that's, in a way, you're saving because if you get your house paid off quicker, now you'll have all that free money to start really accelerating your savings in the future, okay? But I think there's no substitute for the time value of money. The sooner you can get that money put away, the more it's going to grow, and then the more that interest in there is going to grow itself. So it's going to triple compound. And Albert Einstein called that one of the 8 wonders of the world. back in the day.
Okay.
So again, don't worry if you haven't saved, but you may be doing a lot of things that are helping you and don't even realize it. If you're paying those bills off early, you're helping
Right.
yourself.
That's interesting because I heard you and Amanda on her endorsement on the radio, and you were talking about, well, I've still got some furniture that that you bought on time, as my dad used to say.
Yep.
And you were asking him, what do I need to pay off first?
Yep, and it was 0%, but they can still get you in the fine print, which is one of the books that really helped me, that Coach Pete gave me, was like, hey, in the fine print,
Fine print fiasco.
Fine print fiasco.
You can really, if you miss some of those details, oh, it's 60 months, oh, it's 0%, that can bite you. And coming from a family of parents who work check to check, and not knowing about money, and you see all those flashy things when you are in your 20s, when you are graduating, and you think, I want all this now. I want the fence, and I want the furniture, and I want the car.
Gratisfaction, I call it. You want it immediate.
You want it immediately, and it really does require discipline. And I just implore you to get coach in your circle and learn, like, hey, where could I be when I'm 60? Look long term. Stop looking so short term, and then you'll be where you need to be.
You know, the game and gimmicks, the same as cash. 60 months, same as cash. 5 years, same as cash. They try to get you to do that. And here's the two zingers in there. Number one, they require a minimum payment every month still.
Yep.
And if you miss one of those minimum payments, they'll go back and get you for all the interest that you haven't paid yet, plus all the interest you have in the future too. And if you get to the 60 months and you wait one extra day, so 60 months and 1 day, they're going to go back and hit you with all that interest plus interest on top of that interest. So and fees and all that. You got to be very careful on that. But it's a great deal if you pay it off like the rules say.
Right.
Because free money. All right, but again, the only reason they're doing that, they're not doing it because they're a charity. They're doing it because they hope you mess up.
Yeah.
Vegas doesn't stay open because they're a charity, do they? They come on in and win. No, they want you to come in and what? Mess up. And just like anything in life.
So how much money should someone have in their emergency fund if they're coming out of college and they're in their 20s?
Yeah, all right, it depends. And well, I hate that kind of answer, it depends. But it depends on what you're spending in a month.
Okay.
So if you can really figure out about what you spend in a month for all your bills in your fund, you need about 6 times that in an emergency fund.
That's a lot.
Okay, and a lot of people say 2 years because what if you lost your job? And then so then the 2 years worth of fund would help, right? Because now you don't have a job and you're looking for a job. So and we see a lot of people like that these days with AI taking a lot of jobs away.
Oh, it's
right. But a lot of people blame it on AI, but they just weren't doing a good job to begin with. If you're doing a great job, no one's going to replace you. Put it that way.
One of the things that always stands out to me when we talk, specifically when we talk a lot, you always go straight to retirement, and a lot of people go straight to retirement. But I'm a live in the now person.
Yep.
And so for me, I've come out of college, even now where I am in life, I want to take vacations.
Yep.
Yes.
I see this.
I want to do stuff like that, and I do appreciate
Facebook.
I take a lot of vacations.
You were riding a camel this past summer.
I was.
That's pretty impressive.
Travel is so important to me, so I would prioritize living my life now while I'm healthy and able.
Exactly.
Versus just getting to retirement, and I think that's one of the things that people don't realize that you help with too.
You can do both. Okay, you can live in the now and you can also save at the same time. And I like to put plans together like that too. They give you the fun now and the fun later, but never in a place where you're not going to have any money left over. So you always got to manage it the right way. But there's ways to do exactly what you're doing. You're doing it.
I'm doing it,
and you're doing a good job.
But it took many years to get here because I didn't want to. Like you said, live and check. I don't want to do that.
I'm afraid to spend this because I might not have enough. Well, what if we put plans together where you knew you had enough and you knew next year you're going to have even more money to do it? So that's what we do. Replenishing income. And emergency accounts.
Sure.
No, and I'm telling you something I've been working on a lot is just stripping it down where I'm not buying too much. I am buying too much. Amazon, too much shopping, trying to rewear these clothes. Like people aren't going to see me again. So the saving tips that Coach has instilled have been great.
It makes it easy to spend money these days. Like McDonald's takes credit cards. I remember when they didn't take credit cards, it was really, really cheap to eat there. We used to go in with for Christmas, we'd get a $5 book of gift certificates back in the day. $1 at a time. And Mom would say, well, tear one away. So me and my brothers would all tear one out, $1. And we all hop in the car. We were all proud to pay for our own meal. We went up there and we get a hamburger, fries, a drink, and a cherry or apple pie. Remember the hot ones they used to have, the deep fried ones? And a drink. For under, man, milkshake a lot of times, for under $1. Crazy, isn't it?
Wow.
Nowadays, you couldn't even get a burger for under $1.
And now Amazon's letting you stretch your payments out
Isn't that nice
on your
of them?
purchase, and they're doing it on everything. So it's really just everywhere. So
It's all about trying to trap you behind that dead 8 ball. You don't need to be trapped behind there. And there are ways where you don't have to be. So let's get together. We'll put a plan together that makes sense for you. A common sense plan that encompasses fun, like Jen wants to do.
Live
but
my life.
fun now and fun later. We can do it all together.
Finish first with this guy.
Consumer advocate Thomas Lipscomb here in studio with best-selling author Coach Pete D'Arruda. Coach, how are you doing?
Great, Thomas. How are you?
I am doing very well. Excited to get into the topic. Now listen to this. Something that is going to throw us back to 1981. You probably know what it is.
Back to the future.
Stocks, bonds, inflation-protected bonds, industrial metals all slumping at the same time. Not a pretty reminder, is it?
No, and we're almost there now, Thomas. I mean, when you look at it, the problem these days is how strong is the American dollar, and not what an exchange rate is, but are we still using the American dollar to trade oil? And there have been rumors that that's going away. And if that goes away, we won't be able to print unlimited dollars anymore. We've been able to hide a lot of the dollars we print because we are the international exchange currency.
There you go.
If that goes away, we turn into Venezuela overnight.
Well, let me ask you this. You're talking about printing more dollars. Obviously, that means inflation, inflation, inflation.
Yeah.
And I have a note here that says just a 3% rate of inflation would cut your spending power in half over the course of 24 years.
Well, let's look at it. People hear inflation. A lot of people don't realize what that means.
Yeah.
That means there's way too many dollars out there for way too many things to buy. And so here's why it happened. The government gave away trillions of dollars, and a lot of the giveaways were to tell people not to work. So you're paying people not to work, and they're usually the people who are making the products that people are buying. So if you're not working to make the products, but they're giving you money to go buy products, there aren't products out there. So then the few products that are out there, the people who are selling them can charge what they want. We're seeing that with oil, obviously. We're seeing that with food. We're seeing that with almost everything we buy, even used cars. There are less few cars out there. There's a lot more dollars chasing the used cars around. And I've dumped a used car in the market than myself. I made a lot more money on a Honda Civic that I bought my daughter 2 years ago.
Isn't that crazy?
I gave her a Jeep instead, and I made money.
I love it. I love it. I will be there soon enough. I will be there soon enough.
So this is not good, though. This is not good in the long run at all for anyone. You know, a lot of people like me just brag that I made more money selling a used car. So what? I'm getting punished all over the place. When I go to the food store, when I go to the appliance store, when I go any store, I'm paying a lot more than I should.
Okay, well, tell us, how can we develop that inflation shield then?
Yeah, well, we used to call it an inflation protected plan. It still is, but we need to make sure that our money is at least earning up to what inflation is. Or trying to earn. If you have money buried under a pillow, you're earning zero. And if inflation is admittedly 8%, I think it's higher than that, you are losing 8% a year in buying power.
Wow.
And then if you have money in a CD at a bank, maybe you're getting 1%. And again, inflation 8%, you're losing 7% per year out of your buying power. So your dollar is shrinking right in front of you, Thomas. We need to have a plan put together that at least helps us keep up with that inflationary aspect we have these days.
And this is something that you and the team specialize in. So folks, contact Coach Pete and the team here at Capital Financial. They keep a limited number of vacancies on their calendar just for viewers like you. So call in, reserve that spot. We offer virtual consultations as well as in-office consultations. So get yours today.
In 2024, an EBRI study said only 1 out of 4 Americans felt confident they'd never run out of money. So how can you help people build certainty into their plan?
There's a lot of great financial plans out there, but you don't have a retirement plan unless you have streams of lifetime income that's guaranteed. I like more than one stream. And of course, Social Security, that's a stream of income. It's an annuity offered by the government. Everyone gets Social Security. But we need our own personal annuities. We need to ensure our retirement. And it's great to look at these gigantic million-dollar balances in the stock market. They're fun. It is fun to grow your money, and we want the market to grow. But we also want to preserve the money we've already taken all those years where we didn't do stuff to save. What good is it to save money to watch it disappear before you can spend it? So let's put some of the money in a place we can outlive and put those in streams of income account.
With Bitcoin, though, every time you do a transaction, it goes all the way to the beginning, follows the chain all the way up, and puts your transaction way over here.
Wow.
On Ethereum, it goes back to the last time on the node, and it adds it right there going forward. So it's a lot faster on Ethereum. Now, both Ethereum and Bitcoin have pretty good transactional fees. Bitcoin calls it a transaction fee, and Ethereum calls it a gas fee. And that goes up and down depending on the surge, how many people are using it at the same time. So there are some ones that don't charge a fee or minimal fees, but then you have to build trust with them. The only one I really trust that doesn't charge a fee is one called Nano, N-A-N-O. They're a non-profit crypto, sort of like Red Hat was back in the day for technology.
Right.
And they don't charge a transaction fee because there's nobody there to feed. It's a self-running program, but its main purpose is from peer to peer, buying and selling. every single year, the inflation, the how much a cost of a loaf of bread, gas, these kind of great things, and then some of the famous songs back then, and just things you're going to bring back some good memories.
Oh, and it's so fun when you read through the book, guys. When you get your copy, it starts off in 1909, 1910, and we've put the style in the style of that era. So then, as you progress to the 20s and the 30s, you
the Roaring 20s, right?
You get to the 40s, 50s. It feels like the Jetsons. You get to the. It's really fun. It's a fun book. I look forward to it. But let's focus on this one right now.
It's a good book right here too.
Chapter 2, tax diversification and income bucket. So bucketing strategy. I'm sure many of you watching know that Coach Pete is and has been on television and radio for a very, very, very long time.
Over 20 years.
And we talk bucketing strategy a lot, but here you're talking about it in terms of taxation.
It's so much easier to understand your money when you can break it down into piles or buckets.
Yeah.
All right, so there's 3 main buckets when we're talking about taxation. We've got the taxable bucket. That's money that, like when you get a paycheck, it's taxable.
Sure,
taxable money. If you have a CD at the bank, it's usually taxable, so that's taxable. We have the tax deferred bucket. That's where you earn interest, but you don't pay the taxes until you take the money out down the road. So like your IRAs are tax deferred.
Okay,
you got to put money in, you got to reduce your taxable income when you put the money in, but when you take the money out, you have to increase your taxable income because you have to pay tax on it. Then the most important bucket, the most overlooked bucket, the bucket that is usually not filled up, is the tax-free bucket. That means when you take the money out, it comes out tax-free. When you pass away, it goes tax-free to your next of kin. This is the Roth IRA that you hear about. This is life insurance. If designed the right way, you can get a tax-free income from your life insurance policy through your life, and then when you pass away, a tax-free death benefit will go to your beneficiaries, your family. Very, very important. Or your churches or charity.
That's powerful.
We had somebody, he instead of giving to the church every week, he told the pastor he was going to use that money and buy a life insurance policy with it. So that when he passed away, he left $1 million to the church tax-free.
I bet they were happy about that.
See, I mean, that's a creative way right there. It made a lot of sense.
It is.
So if you turn the tax law upside down, it can be your best friend. If you have it as it is now and don't really pay attention to it, it's going to be your worst enemy.
That's good.
So we have something we call tax planning, looking ahead to protect your behind from the tax man. So let's get a tax plan put together along with your retirement plan and your income plan, and now you'll be in control of retirement and not worry anymore.
Yes.
Because the worst thing you could do is stay up late at night wondering where you're going to get the money to pay the taxes on retirement. We can help you with all that, folks. And because you're watching this, you qualify for no-cost consultation with a team who specializes in everything we talk about here in the book. So let's get a plan put together at no cost or obligation for you and your family. Go to CoachPete.com or call the number you see on the screen. You can be getting started as soon as next week, getting in control of your money instead of your money controlling you.
Very good. The time to act is now, folks. Call that number you see on your screen. This is all a part of Coach Pete's 22-step planning process. Tax is obviously a very big part of that. Maximize your income, minimize those taxes, and we will see you for Chapter 3 of Tax Savvy Retirement.
All right, red money, yellow money, green money in retirement. What is all this, and what does it mean to diversify between the three?
Red, green, yellow. Sounds like a song, doesn't it? But again, we don't want to take too much risk when we're getting into that financial red zone. And that's about age 50 or 5 years outside of retirement or any time in retirement, you are in the financial red zone. So what that means, Amanda, is when we're young, we can take a lot of risk with our money because in theory, if we lose it, we have time to gain it back. But if you ask me, I don't like losing money at any time. I don't know about you. So we can make sure to minimize risk, but also maximize return. But the most important part of anything, Amanda, is making sure you have a lifetime of income that when you approach retirement, you can never outlive that.
So if someone already has a retirement plan in place and they haven't revisited it in a long time, it's time to sit down with you, right, and say, hey, what are my goals? Where am I headed? Maybe they don't trust the financial person that they're with now.
You ever drive down the road, Amanda, and you go through that pothole, and you do it every day for the longest time, and so you know how to avoid it, but then you look in your rearview mirror and see other people hitting it? Well,
A retirement plan can't be like that. It can't be like the road service that never fixes a pothole.
Yeah.
A good retirement plan is reviewed every year so that we can fill the potholes and, more importantly, get you on a different road to begin with. If you have potholes in your retirement, you're in the wrong road to begin with. So let's get that smooth glide path into retirement, get that true lifetime income plan. I've been doing this over 33 years now, so I know what I'm doing as far as structuring retirement income you can't outlive. If you want to get a real plan together, folks, that doesn't have potholes in it, call right now.
I'm excited about our next guest. I've known the next guest for many years. He's a personal friend of mine, Coach Pete D'Arruda, CoachPete.com, America's Wealth Coach. Welcome, Coach Pete.
Great to see you, Tommy.
So, Pete, I know a little bit about your background. The audience doesn't, so fill us in on how you got to where you are.
We have 33 years in the financial arena now. Gosh, time flies, doesn't it? It seems like just yesterday. I started working with teachers in the 90s, showing them how to save money, tax deductible, or put it away before taxes come out in the 403B, federal 403B program, helping them save for retirement. Tom, then they started to retire. And I said, gosh, I need to know how to help them the rest of the way. So I got my Retirement Income Certified Professional designation from the American College, which teaches me and taught me how to make sure that people never run out of money in retirement.
Here we are, the big book on retirement. I'm Thomas Lipscomb here with Coach Pete D'Arruda, going chapter by chapter through the book, getting some behind the scenes knowledge and wisdom. And you're here for chapter 2, so let's dive right in. The chapter is called Learn the Rules. And you got a quote here at the top I like. It's from Albert Einstein. He says, you got to learn the rules of the game. Then you have to play better than anyone else.
Yeah.
But learning the rules is huge, and I think I can pick on myself a little bit here, Coach. You know, I'm not a huge sports fan. I'm more into the music and the nerdy stuff. But I know my rules when it comes to hockey, and I can enjoy the game because of that, or soccer or whatever. But then there are games out there that I simply just don't know the rules for.
Well, look at driving. You have to know the rules there. So it doesn't have to be just a game. It could be anything in life. There's rules.
That's true.
Anything you do have rules. You go to the bathroom, public restroom, there's rules. You don't walk up right behind people when they're, when you're waiting. There's different things you have to do.
That's good, yeah.
And so knowing the rules will put you in charge. If you know the rules, you can build a plan around the rules.
Yes.
If you don't know the rules, you could do things that aren't right. And so the rules are not telling you what's. You're not going to go to jail if you don't follow the rules, but you could be in a lot worse situation if you don't follow the money rules.
Yeah, it's true. We've talked about people who have had excessive penalties more than they needed to, or maybe just not optimizing things properly, just because they didn't understand the rules. I do, because the tax. How big are these books with the rules in them? It's a lot in there.
I had a conversation with my daughter the other day because Daddy pays for her credit card each month. She's at college right now, and I noticed she was doing a lot of these food deliveries. And Daddy had a conversation with her about how when Daddy was in school, he bought one loaf of bread and peanut butter and jelly and basically lived off that. He didn't pay delivery fees. So I said, you're a young girl. There's a snack bar right in the first floor of her dorm.
Oh, okay.
Said, walk down there and buy the snacks. Don't have someone bring it to your door because then you have to pay delivery fee and you got to tip people. So, when you're paying everybody else money, it's hard to build money. And, the people that understand money and have a lot of money are the ones that did smart money decisions going forward.
It's true.
Because anytime money goes out, you have to work extra hard just to bring it back in. She doesn't because it's Daddy's money. Daddy doesn't like his money going out there. I have a limit now. It's a pretty good limit, though, but each month for her. But and I'm not being a mean dad. I'm just saying it's okay to eat that way every now and then, but don't do it all the time because that's a money evil. They're trying to steal money from you, and they are.
Yeah. That's good.
Paying tips and delivery fees.
I think, my grandma certainly didn't make up the saying, but she used to say a penny saved is a penny earned.
Absolutely.
And I think the word ownership has a lot to do with this conversation as well. Just owning your retirement, making the most of it. Nobody else is going to do it for you at the end of the day.
You ever say I used to pick pennies up all the time back in the day. And you could get a piece of candy for 1 penny back in the day. That was pretty cool. So there was no tax on it. You'd go in and get a penny, you go get a piece of candy.
I love it.
So, but there was a study we did back in the day, and it said if you have a penny and you double it every day for 1 month, 30 days, you'd have over $1 million. If you doubled it. So the next day would be 2 cents, 4 cents, 8 cents, etc. You're up to millions of dollars. I think it was like 10 million by the time 30 days
That's
came.
incredible. That's incredible. I remember seeing
penny
that
saved
chart.
is a lot of pennies earned.
A lot of pennies earned. I love that.
Yeah.
We're going to allude to compound interest there, which is later on in this here book. But until then, you like that? Until then, though, let's wrap up chapter 2, and folks, get ready for chapter 3. If anything that you've read in here or heard in here has drawn out some questions, and you want to talk to one of Coach Pete's fiduciary planners, presenters, just give us a call, text us, communicate with us. We'd be happy to sit down with you and walk you through the goal line.
Yeah.
See you next time.
And money. And we luckily have some gals here. I've got Miss Jana, I've got Miss Amanda, I'm Jackie, and we have Coach Pete to keep us on the plan to make sure that we have enough money going through our stages of life.
Yeah.
Because you're right, it's not just about, is it? It's not just about retirement.
No, it's about living your life today and
Yes,
doing
yes.
things you want to do to enjoy your life.
Living your life today without punishing yourself tomorrow. And that's
Yeah.
what we do. We can do a plan like that. So you don't have to punish yourself ever. And so there are a lot of people that say, gosh, I can't have any fun because I need to save this money for retirement. Then you get to retirement, you can't do anything anyway.
Because you don't feel good.
Yeah, you know, here's a fact of life.
Yeah.
We get slower as we get older, don't
Yeah.
we?
Oh, don't remind me. But through all the ages and stages, I think the important thing is, like, for instance, I'm getting married.
Great. Let's do it.
Next year, but it's been a really big topic in our house because I want to buy, certain things for the wedding. Ryan wants to buy certain things for the wedding. His big things are food and entertainment. And my big things are the dress and maybe the honeymoon and maybe, so we had to really look at like, okay, do we really need flowers? And the answer is no, the venue's pretty enough. That was one of the main things.
Oh, I love it.
So I'm trying to
You're paying a lot of money for the venue.
Yeah.
Well, usually flowers are to cover up a bad venue. So if
There
you already
you
have a
go.
good venue, what do you need
It's
flowers?
a
That is
good venue.
brilliant.
It's beautiful. It's lush. I'm like, why do we need all these flowers? I'll carry something down.
Save
But
a lot of money that way.
You bet.
I'm proud of you. You really put on your big girl panties with those decisions.
It was hard.
You want, in your heart, you want it all. You want
was
the
hard.
dream
Well, sure.
You
storybook.
want the princess wedding.
Yeah, you
And
do.
Coach has got me thinking about getting a used dress. Like, I'm seriously, like, I'm not spending $5,000 on a
brainwashed
dress.
you, girl.
I'm not.
There's
I'm
no
not
need.
gonna do it.
There is no need. I wore a very
I said something
inexpensive
about a
gown
huge
as well.
dress?
Yeah, well, we talked about it in one of our last
I might have just said I
endorsement
liked what
spots.
you were talking about, but I mean, no, you don't need a huge dress. You need whatever you want. That's what you
Yeah,
want.
and I guess my
That's
answer,
diplomatic.
yeah, my question is for all of this and for those that are going through this and merging money and still keeping their independence is how do you, for lack of better words, compromise in this type of situation? Because obviously you're getting married and these are bumpy roads going into the wedding, surviving all of that with families and costs and expense. But how do you reel it in?
Many times, a wedding is the first time a girl turning into a woman has ever had to worry about a budget.
Okay.
Because a lot of, like the rule is that the parents of the daughter always pay for the wedding. That's what they always say, right? So I'm a parent of two daughters, so I'm careful. But what Alan has done, my friend whose daughter's getting married, is he put together a absolute budget, like amount.
Okay.
We're not going over 40,000. He said,
Oh,
which is a pretty big
great.
budget
That's
if you
pretty
ask
good.
me.
Yes.
So,
That's big. That's generous.
but you
don't
have to. So even with a $40,000 budget, though, his daughter is starting to complain because she says, "I don't have enough for this. I want a live band. I want a cello. I want." But you have to make sacrifices somewhere, and that's what our Congress doesn't know how to do that because all they do is print more money. But we can't manage our personal debts or financial situations like Congress because we don't have some people may have a printing press.
Yeah.
That's illegal though. But no, it's just finding. You make that. You've done it too. You're already doing it. Mentally, you're making a priority list. What's most important? What are the 5 most important things in this wedding for me?
yes.
Right? You probably thought about that.
I'm getting married later in life too.
Yeah.
And so I'm not in my. But to my advice to the people that are in their 20s or early 30s that are doing it, I'm 40 now. Is just really look at long term. Like, what else could I spend this money on? And for me, it's Jackson's school and. We need to extend the fence in the backyard, and I want to do this to the house.
You can always find a need somewhere to spend money.
As
Can't you?
opposed to a
That's not enough
one-day,
money.
4-hour party.
Yeah. And I want to invest, and I want to have. I don't want to be stranded in retirement where I'm like, why didn't I do this?
Well, I've seen some people. They say, well, we want to do a good honeymoon too, but we only have a certain amount of money for the whole wedding. So let's take a little bit away from the wedding and have a really nice honeymoon. Because the honeymoon's more important than anything. The people coming to the wedding are just coming to eat free and drink free. You know
Amen.
that. That's the only reason I go to weddings.
So once you're actually married,
I'll remember that.
Little personal dig here, but once you're married, are you going to blend your accounts, or are you
this is
keeping your
good.
own bank accounts?
So this is a loaded question because he technically has all of his stuff in Texas and I have all of my stuff in North Carolina. So it's
separate.
not something we've figured out yet. And so we'll have to get with Coach and talk about the benefits, the pros and the cons.
You know, the first thing you need is a trust.
Okay.
Because you're a blended family. with a child, the trust is the most important thing. Not a will, but a trust, because you don't want to end up like Cinderella. You don't want Jackson turning, like if you pass away and all of a sudden he remarries, and all of a sudden Jackson's treated like Cinderella. So you establish a trust.
Amanda's getting a trust today.
I'm getting a trust right now.
We do those trusts, and we have an attorney organization that we utilize to do the trust.
Okay.
But they are a lot more affordable if you do it through us than if you go see an attorney.
Truly.
Interesting.
So
That's such a good one.
We're talking about 60% less.
And there's tax advantages to having the trust, right?
Well, sometimes there's tax advantages. It's more of a peace of mind.
Okay.
A trust speaks for you even if you're not here anymore. That's what a trust does. A trust is a way to bypass probate. A will is an invitation to probate. Guess how much probate costs? Between 3 and 7% of whatever you have in your estate is lost in probate, plus probate is not private. Trusts are totally private. So that's why trust makes so much more sense. And so, but especially if you have a blended family, especially if you're getting married, everybody really needs some kind of trust or will, but everybody needs that little green book of life. So you can come in and if you come in to see me, I'll give you a copy, but you can buy it on Amazon as well.
The more you know with Coach Pete, you got to have that trust.
Really is. Trust is important in life in more ways than one.
So I'm going to pin you down on this one too. Do you recommend, we have a newlywed coming in, we won't use each other, but do you want her to keep her own separate finances, or do you recommend a blended household?
All right, here's something that causes a lot of divorces. Joint checking accounts. Joint checking accounts cause more divorces than anything.
Really?
They do.
Joint checking accounts. So I like a joint account to pay the bills, like the mortgage and the utilities, and you both put a little money in there. You establish what you're putting in there. Yeah, you both contribute. But then you both should have your own separate checking accounts. It's no fun to get a gift from a joint checking account for a birthday. Oh, happy birthday, honey. Well, good. Look what I paid for. You know,
I'm not a fan of the joint, so I feel like for that reason and other stuff, but my independence.
Joint accounts for your bills that you need, the community property, cars, insurance, all the kind of stuff you want to pay for together. But if you like a nicer car, you have your own account.
Nice.
It sounds fair to me. I still need my independence.
A lot less fighting if you have blended. It's a blended family kind of thing, because now you're with your husband, so blend the accounts. Have a joint, and then you both have your own individual.
And if you really have a good man, which you know you will, when you say, honey, can you please buy me this? Then that's fine.
Yeah, but you don't want to buy it with a joint money, right?
No.
So what fun is it to get flowers from the money you just paid?
Jackie's like, absolutely no.
No, it makes sense. But again, you have to figure out, and these conversations, unfortunately, are had after the wedding, not before.
It's true. Because people don't like to talk about money, especially women.
Yeah.
It's an awkward, a taboo subject.
But you guys are making 47% of the money worldwide now. So it's time for you guys to be a member of the conversation.
Yeah, and it's not being confrontational. It's just having the gumption to say,
get it down,
hey,
because if you get it down now and no confusion and you understand it completely, then there'll be no. Well, there could be some confrontation in the future, but it won't be because of that money, right? It won't be because of that.
Maybe it should include the wedding plans, a consultation with a financial planner.
Should, like
let's get this thing.
Here we go.
And he can counsel us, right? You go to talk to your clergyman when you're talking about, right?
One course away from being a psychologist, by the way. I had 5 psychology classes too, so it's a lot of psychology when I meet
psychology
with
of money.
Yeah, there's a big correlation between money and psychology.
Sure, yeah.
Coach, he's the man.
Get in to see Coach Pete.
So that's segment 3. When we come back, we've got 2 more segments here to talk about, episode, segment, whatever we want to talk about, but we're going to get into even more detail when we come back. Hey, I'm Coach Pete Deruta, president of Capital Financial. Folks, the financial world is very, very confusing. That's why we put together a series of educational videos called webinars. You can see them at any time by signing up at CoachPete.com. We'll see you there.
So let's talk crypto. I know it's not in our script, but what are your thoughts around crypto?
Well, they show it on CNBC now on the ticker down there. It always has the Dow, the S&P, the NASDAQ, and Bitcoin. So it's here. And you have companies that are putting it in their balance sheet. They're investing in it. Even countries are using it for their national security. They're building their national treasure up with Bitcoin. So I was always a skeptical guy. I still am. I'm a Generation X guy, so I'm skeptical. But I've got 4 Bitcoin myself. Not a lot, but my average cost is a lot higher than what we're talking about here. But it's a lot lower than what my average cost is a lot lower than what it is now. I never thought we'd see over 100,000.
Yeah. So I was the biggest Bitcoin non-believer there was. I mean, it's the greater fool theory. You got to find somebody dumber than you to pay more to it. That's what I thought. And then I watched, I might have been Michael Saylor on CNBC.
Saylor's really good.
Lay out a believable case to a total non-believer like me that Bitcoin could hit $1 million someday. And he said, all we're recommending is that our clients put 1% of their portfolio in Bitcoin, because if it goes to 0, that won't hurt you. If it goes to $1 million, you're going to be happy you did it. Well, that resonated with me. And so I put 1% of my portfolio back when Bitcoin was $2,000 a Bitcoin.
Oh, there you go.
And that is now worth well over 7 figures.
Good for you, Tommy.
You know, and so I just took 1%, and so that was just a little risk with a major. I've never had anything go up as much as that has gone up.
Just make sure you have it in a good place and someone can't come and steal it from you. Yeah, that's the only thing to hear about this.
So I know that.
And welcome into the next episode of Tax Savvy Retirement, the series. I'm Thomas Lipscomb here alongside the author, Coach Pete D'Arruda. If you don't know who he is, turn on your radio, your TV, walk through the airport. He's all over the place, folks. But today, you're gracing me with your time here in the studio. I'm excited because this is a really awesome resource. I love what you've put into this book, Coach. And we're going to be talking withdrawal strategies specifically for tax optimization. And I just want to throw out a term here that I think a lot of our viewers are going to know. That's the 4% rule. You'll see this written about on CNBC or Fox Business, wherever you're looking. Could you kind of explain what that is and what your view on that is?
Yeah, it was put in by Wall Street a long time ago. It says as long as you only take 4% of your stock account out, you have about a 92% chance of not outliving your money.
Okay.
All right, 92% chance of being okay. You know what I don't like? You've got an 8% chance of being in trouble.
Yeah.
I don't design any plan unless it has a 100% chance of you not being in trouble.
That's good. Yeah.
So I've always held my nose when someone comes in and says, well, my broker says I'll be fine. I say, yeah, you got about a 92% chance of being fine. What if you're in that 8% where you don't? If you got on a plane and the pilot came on the loudspeaker and said, folks, we got about a 92% chance of landing safely today, who do you think is going to be the first person off that plane?
I'll be right behind you. How about that?
Yeah, you'll be able to do it. But, all right, so, and then they've done some studies and they said, really, you can't call it the 4% rule because a lot of people have run out of money. When the market goes down, you're taking money out. It could be even worse than a 8% chance of not outliving your money. So then they revised it and they called it the 2.8% rule.
Is that what it was?
So if you got $1 million, you can take $28,000 out a year and you got a 92% chance.
Imagine working your whole life saving up that $1 million nest egg.
Even 40%, rule is only 40,000.
Yeah.
So the strategies we employ give you about 40 to 60% more with a 100% chance of not outliving your money.
I love it. That's so
lifetime income planning. So instead of getting 40,000, you get 60,000, and you got a 100% chance of never having a problem.
See, you take the worry out and you get more.
Taking the worry out of living in retirement.
That's a great.
One thing you don't want to be worried about in retirement is where the money's going to come from. You worked all your life to put this money away. Don't have someone take it away from you or outspend it. And so you can try to do it yourself, folks, but the do-it-yourselfer model never works. And a lot of times we're going to have the first 10 years or 20 years of retirement. That's when we're going to be in the go-go years still. Yes. We can go do all the fun things. So you don't want to say, well, I don't know if I can afford it or not. And don't take vacations until you're 80 or 90 because then you might not be able to do it anymore.
That's very good.
So our planning enables you to start right away. We encourage you every year to go take a vacation, spend that money, because if not, you're going to build a bunch of money up. You're going to leave your kids. And guess what? They're going to take vacations. You take your vacation. So we make you take vacations. That's what my planner's mean. He makes me go on vacations. Yeah. But again, it's all about understanding the taxes in there and making sure you understand the withdrawal strategies. And we can put together a total income plan for you that has 100% certainty of never having problems. All you have to do is call the number you see on the screen. There's no cost or obligation for this. We offer it every single week on our radio show. You can get it now, and I really think it makes sense, especially after reading this book. You know that you need to be in control, and we can put you in control.
You absolutely can. Folks, call Coach Pete and his fiduciary team at Capital Financial today. I love it. You said the word twice there, Coach, understanding. Yeah. It's so key, folks. Gain that understanding in your retirement plan. It'll lead to confidence, security. Call now, and we will be back with you shortly for the next chapter, Chapter 4.
This big game, every move counts. Plan wisely to win the match. Sidestep the unexpected. And charge towards your goal. Navigate through the challenges. Retirement is your end zone. And the touchdown is within reach. A successful retirement is your championship. Let Coach Pete design your customized income game plan today.
So how do you handle this wealth transfer?
Yeah, it's tough because that's where the fights start.
Yeah.
I mean, the most friendliest families ever aren't friendly anymore when mom or dad passes away, or when the second of the two passes away, especially. Do it ahead of time. Again, it comes back to the little green book of life. It's yours, but this little green book of life is step one. Put your desires down and make sure people don't fight, because we don't have pyramids anymore, Tom. They don't bury you with all your goods.
Welcome back into the next episode of Tax Savvy Retirement. I'm Thomas Lipscomb alongside best-selling author Coach Pete D'Arruda. We are covering Chapter 4 today. It is Tax Bracket Management Strategies. This sounds interesting to me. One thing I do know is there are tax brackets, and you don't necessarily want to creep too far into those. Is it hard to do, though, in retirement because you've got RMDs and all these different things that are,
One of the things that people get worried about is they say, gosh, I don't want to be in a higher tax bracket in retirement.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
But there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. That means you're making a lot of money.
Okay.
And so here's what you shouldn't worry about. Now, we have these tax brackets. You make a certain amount of money, you pay 15% tax. We'll say you make a little more, you pay 22%. Mm-hmm. Make even more, 28%. But it's only on the excess. Yeah. So let's say, Coach, I can't make over $50,000 because I don't want to go into this 22% tax bracket. So, well, if you make $51,000, only $1,000 of that, well, only $1,000 of the $51,000 is going to be in the higher tax bracket.
There you go.
Because you pay the lower tax on until you get to the higher level. So a lot of people think that once you reach a higher bracket, it retroactively goes back and taxes you the big amount from $1.
Right.
That's false. And so the first thing I always tell people is stop worrying. It's not as bad as we think it is sometimes, but it's still bad. But there are some ways. Let's say you have a great stock and it's done really well, and so you have a big gain. So you're going to have capital gains tax on that when you take it out. Long term, which is good. You want long-term capital gains tax, not short-term. Short-term's a lot more.
Yes.
It's whatever income tax rate you're at. Long-term is 15 or 20%, a lot better deal.
Okay.
So you say, well, Coach, this is going to put me into a higher tax bracket. I do not want to be in that higher tax bracket. I heard you, Coach. I heard you say I'm only going to have to pay the taxes on the excess, but I don't even want to do that. Now, so let's look through your stock portfolio. I'm pretty sure you've had a loss or two, like a bad stock. Maybe you're down some. Why, yes, there's this penny stock that my broker told me about, and I've lost $10,000 in there.
Oh.
So you sell that, you take a $10,000 loss and go against the $10,000 gain you just made, you equaled that out. Now you're still in the low tax bracket.
I like that.
So there's a lot of creative ways. And so don't despair, but get a planner who's been there before and understands the tools and techniques to help you look ahead in the tax code to protect your behind from the tax man.
Very important
So
to
we do that. It's fun, folks. It's fun. When we turn the tables on the tax man, it gets really fun, Thomas, because it's a lot of fun to tell the tax man, well, I know you're not getting more tax this year from me. Matter of fact, you're going to give me money back or something like that.
I love it.
So it's about using what's available to you to put you in control. It's called tax arbitrage, and we do that every single day. 100% legal, using the rules as they exist, put you ahead of the game.
Fantastic. Folks, contact Coach Pete's team at Capital Financial today. Starts with a 22-step process. All of this is behind the scenes for you. We try to make it easy.
And there's no cost.
No, there's no, which, by the way, is such an incredible, even you offer this even as a second opinion review.
Yeah.
And the power behind
Get a second opinion first, and then we'll tell you if you really need to get a new plan. Many times we say, hey, everything you're doing is fine. That gives you that peace of mind.
Yeah.
We're not here to sell something. We're here to make sure you're in control.
That right there is the power of fiduciary, folks. Connect with his fiduciary team now. You see the information on your screen, how you can connect with us. Start it. Knowledge is power. I think that came from Schoolhouse Rock, right?
Yeah, it did.
Knowledge is power, and we will see you on the next chapter.
Welcome back to our series, Women and Money. I wish it was called Women in Money, because then we'd all be in the money. I'm just saying. We've got Coach Pete here to kind of guide us along. Jackie, I've got Amanda, and Jana, Miss Jana. Now, what about the divorce, Coachy? What if we get divorced with our money?
There was old Eddie Murphy comedy routine. He said half the money's going somewhere else. We see a lot of, unfortunately, they call them silver divorces. And a lot of people get it. Like
in retirement, yeah.
You go from working, so when you're working 40 hours a week, you really hardly ever see your spouse. You see him in the morning, maybe.
Yeah.
And you see him at night for maybe dinner, a late dinner, a kiss, a good night, and then the same thing. Then on the weekends, you're doing yard work or you're hanging out with friends or maybe you're not spending much time together. And then you get excused from work, or you either retire or you get let go, and now you're at home 40 hours and your spouse is there too. Maybe you see too much of each other.
Oh,
you go
dear.
from not seeing each other at all. Well, let's even rewind even further. You go from dating all the time and loving each other to getting married and then getting jobs and then not seeing each other hardly at all for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And now all of a sudden you're seeing each other full time again. It's a new person.
It is, because you
You
change as
change.
you age.
We all change. I mean, look, even our world changes because we have 7 continents now, and they used to be one big piece of land.
Yeah.
They're
Right.
constantly separated
Yeah.
from each other, aren't they, Jana? And so we all are. There's gravitational pull pulling us different ways. And so compromise it gets more and more valuable and important as we get further into marriage.
And if you can't change together, if you can't, grow, then all of a sudden you are facing that separation or divorce. But even further than that, what if your spouse is hiding stuff from you, debt that you don't know about?
That happens a lot.
And it looms over you when they pass away, and you're like, how am I going to support
Yeah.
the household? How am I going to do all this?
Well, even if they haven't passed away yet, maybe you wish they did. Sometimes you start getting these collector mail all the time, like you owe this or
That's a
calls
whole
at
nother
night.
episode.
You know, back in the day when we had one phone at home, remember one phone at home was on the wall?
on the wall.
And the debt collector would call. Well, if the debt collector was calling then, you could hear it because you could hear the conversation. Now we got these little cell phone things, and nobody really knows what's going on in here. We have our own private worlds. I mean, everybody has their own private world now. And so it makes it a whole lot easier to cheat if you want to, I guess, doesn't
I
it?
suppose, yeah.
And so, and it makes it a whole lot easier to cheat, meaning spend
With
a lot of
money,
money.
yes.
Yeah, and so when debt collectors are calling you on your phone, here they're not calling it a hallway phone anymore. My dad used to. We weren't allowed to talk to girls when I was growing up because Dad was a college professor. He said girls were almost like Bobby Boucher would say, the devil.
Oh my gosh!
And so Dad would get mad at us, because he said, you should be studying. That's what he always
funny.
say. So we had one phone, and so we had to make the conversations very short. And to this day, I don't like talking on the phone because I never really talked on the phone.
Yeah. Do you recommend prenup?
I recommend having a conversation about it.
Okay.
Okay.
Because that's something that, yes, financially makes a whole lot of sense. Emotionally, it's that's a minefield.
It could be. It
Yeah.
could really separate you initially, like even before the wedding happens. If I want to get a prenup, but
What do you been thinking about this?
well, I was married before.
Yep.
So
Who hasn't been these days?
and so,
Jana's only married one
Still
time.
working on my first marriage.
and he had a lot of Bitcoin that I didn't know about.
Wow.
And he was actually buying a lot of Bitcoin with our money, joint money. So I'm like, what? It was shocking to me to know about that when we got divorced. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, have the hard conversations now, because then you find out, hey, are you compatible or not? Because if you're not willing to go through the hard conversation just to sit down face to face, if you're not grown up enough for that, then red flag.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the red flag.
The
for
Bitcoin's
me
interesting.
on
I
this.
assume they found that on a forensic accounting
They did.
dive into there. Saying,
They
where did
did.
this money go? Because he
Yeah.
thought he was being all sneaky, wasn't he?
Yeah. Well,
Did you get half the Bitcoin?
I don't want to say exactly, but we had a lot of money in our real estate too. Nashville was up like a crazy amount, so that was.
If you get married without a prenup, you usually, if you're bringing it into the wedding, marriage, it should be yours. But again, I would outline it. It doesn't have to be a prenup, and I'm not an attorney, by the way.
Yeah.
But I would write down type something out saying, we're entering this marriage at this date, and before I met you, I accumulated this. So I'm bringing this in, and you had this, and you're bringing this into the marriage. If we leave each other in the future, divorce, then we should both leave with this without these being disturbed by each other. In other words, whatever I bring, I should leave with. But if you put it in writing and you both sign it and get it, I'm a notary, I can notarize for you, get it notarized. It would be better than not having anything, right, Jackie? I think so.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Again, I'm not an attorney. But,
Absolutely.
Money causes more arguments than anything by about 10 to 1.
So iron it out now.
Iron it out now, because it's not going to get any better. And if people are fighting and say, well, once we're married, everything will be fine. No, it's going to get worse. So you got to start with a queen sea that has no waves in it, because it's going to get rocky. There's going to be 10-foot waves, swells. They're going to have 30, 40, 50, 70-foot swells in your relationship. We have a storm coming in right now offshore. They said about 70 to 90-foot waves on the offshore, but they call them swells because they're not really here. But if they hit the coast, that's bad. So you don't need that kind of wave hitting your relationship in the future either. So you can quell the waters by getting everything done ahead of time on a piece of paper, get it signed.
Sure. For as far as retirement accounts are concerned, because let's jump to that, because you're in the marriage stage. But what about the Social Security claiming and the retirement accounts? What would you suggest women do?
Yeah, well, a lot of times your husband has made more money than you have over the years. It's not your fault. It's just what the world has done. So
a lot of women take time off to have kids, and they have many years of not earning.
There's two parts. So remind me the second part.
Okay.
It's about divorce. Remind me that in a minute.
Okay.
But this is like if you're married to your husband, and you're still, and you're retiring, or you want to start taking Social Security, you may be able to take your husband's portion. It may be more than yours before you activate yours. And so you can take, that's a special claiming strategy where you get a lot more income until yours builds up to the point where it's higher, or it may never. You can always get your spouse's part.
Okay.
But if you've been married before and you've been divorced, you're married for at least 10 years and you're currently divorced, you can actually claim your ex-spouse's Social Security amount. And they don't know about it and it doesn't affect theirs. So you may only get like, let's say $2,000 a month, but ex-spouse may get $3,800. Which one are you going to claim? Your ex-spouse.
Wow.
So we can show you how to do that too. So these are a lot of things that people overlook. And here's one thing: the Social Security Administration will not tell you that when you go there. They'll just all their job is to make sure that you fill your paperwork out. They can't give you any advice. So we give advice before you go make that decision, Social Security wise. So that's a big one.
That's a huge one.
It's a big one.
So it's best to get in to talk to a
Get
planner.
a claiming strategy, anytime. I mean, I think it's good to have a financial advisor on call anyway, but I mean, once a year you should meet with your advisor and go through what changed in a year.
Sure.
Well, this is a big change when you get ready to retire, so then there's a need for a big meeting. If you don't have an advisor yet, sort of like not going to the dentist for years and years and years,
Boy,
and your tooth is starting to hurt.
Oh, boy.
Well, getting close to retirement, just picture your financial teeth are starting to hurt. You need to go meet with them. And I promise we're not going to do any drilling.
Good. That's good. Boy, do I wish I would have known this stuff when I was married, because I got divorced during the CDs, with splitting up the CD. Oh my goodness, you guys.
But if you've gone through a divorce,
well, we married more than 10 years.
Yes.
We'll be able to enact that strategy then down the road.
Fine. Works for me.
Jackie's making notes. But if you've been through a divorce, you're probably already sensitive. You know, it's probably hell to go through one. If somebody needs to simplify things, will you do this for them?
Yeah. Yeah, we break it down.
If I just say, hey, I like what you said, do it. I don't have the bandwidth to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, here's what we always do. Since I've come from a family of educators, dad, college professor, mom, school teacher, I like to do it for people, but then I also like to show them how we did it, how they can do it themselves.
Nice.
Okay, and why. And always, it's one thing when somebody does something, they say, well, why do they do that? They never tell you. Like you go to the doctor's office, here, let me hit the knee. Why are you doing that, doc? My knee moves. You tell me why. But that's what we do. We tell you why we're doing things and why why should we take income from the regular IRA before the Roth IRA, or why should we get life insurance because it has a long-term care rider on it. You know, life insurance is something everybody has, but a lot of people have these old policies. What does that mean? Well, the new life insurance policies let you take some of your death benefit, like let's say you have $1 million life insurance policy, a lot of people have at least $1 million. You have to go to a nursing home. You don't have nursing home insurance, but you have a life insurance policy that has a nursing home rider on it.
Nice.
These are the new policies. You can reach into your death benefit. Let's say you need $100,000 for home health care for a year. They'll give you $100,000 out of your death benefit, tax-free, and there it is. And probably you only paid maybe $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 for that whole life insurance policy. Now you've already got $100,000 out to pay for long-term care this year. You can do it next year, the year after. The year after, when you pass away, whatever's left gets passed on as a death benefit to your next of kin.
You're like a protector. You're like Coach Pete to the scene.
Well, it really makes a lot of sense because long-term care, you guys haven't talked about it, but you guys are going to spend more. Well, you can't really say this, but women are going to spend more time in long-term care facilities than Coach Pete is because, again, us guys don't live as long. But both my wife's grandmothers were in long-term care facilities for 5 years or longer.
I want a nice rest home, so I'm planning to
get that life insurance.
buckling down.
Yeah, because long-term care insurance is way overpriced and it's nowhere near as good as having a life insurance policy, which you need anyway. They can never raise the rates on you. They can never kick you out. And it's always there. It's a permanent policy. It doesn't go away once you get it. And it doesn't have a rate increase. That's beautiful. That's really beautiful on that. So anyway, there's a lot of different things we can do. But the most important thing is, we started talking about divorce. You're not alone, even if you are alone, don't have a spouse anymore. We're always here to help you. And so you never want to feel like you're alone. And your finances don't need to be an enemy. They need to be an ally. And we can show you how to make your finances work for you. Like we're talking about the right way to file Social Security, the right way to buy life insurance, the right way to get that retirement income put together. We can do it for you. Just call the number you see on the screen.
So the Gallup reports that 61% of Americans fear outliving their income is worse than dying early.
It is. And so I wrote about this. I've got a pocketbook series. So 6 different books like this. This is number 4. This is tactics. And one of the tactics is to make sure that you have an account set up, or 2 or 3 accounts that are going to make sure to give you that financial fill-up strategy. It's one thing to ask a broker, hey, is my retirement safe? And of course, they're going to say yes, because they don't want your money to leave. If your money leaves, so does their commissions or their money under management fee. So we need to have some of our money that's isolated from financial termites, I call them. Those are unnecessary risk, fees, and commissions coming out of your accounts. And we could do that with the insurance industry as step forward to give you lifetime guaranteed income accounts. And if you don't have one, you really need one, Tom.
Welcome back into Annuity Avenue, folks. Coach Pete here. I've got Mr. Greg Berrien with me, one of my advisors. Works really hard to make sure people are happy, not only today, tomorrow, but all the way through retirement. I think you're going to see how great Greg does his job here when we talk about this hypothetical case example here. Before we tape this episode, we have an Uncle Sam hat in the office. We should bring that in here, Thomas, next time. But it's Uncle Sam hat, and inside the hat are a bunch of different age numbers, from 50 all the way to 98, believe it or not. And Greg reaches in there, and we decided we were going to do a widow this week. So just one person. Greg, what number did you draw out this week?
70 years old, Coach.
70-year-old widow. Yeah. Okay. And then we have a different hat. We reach in. Well, actually, we dump the numbers out, and then we put different numbers in the same hat. It's the same hat, but it's a different kind of draw. We have lump sums in there. So what kind of lump sum did you draw out, Greg?
Well, what we drew out was $500,000.
$500,000. All right, 70-year-old widow, $500,000. Keep in mind, the money we draw out of here is not all her money. This is the money that we say should be in a green account instead of a red account. So typically, we add another 25 or 30% to that, and that's extra money they have, and that should be in different places than this example we're showing. So, but the $500,000, Greg, needs to be in a safe place because she has no safety whatsoever.
Oh, yeah.
She's 70 years old, and she has no income plan. She has Social Security as her only income. How can we get her in a better position right now?
That's it, Coach. We're looking at, a significant income gap.
Yeah.
And that's
between
really
what she's going to get from Social Security and what she needs to live on, probably, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you see a lot of folks in their 70s. You've seen plenty of widows in their 70s. And there's only one stream of income coming in. And they've lost one of the Social Security incomes. They may not even have any income other than that. And we've got the evil eye. And the evil eye doesn't stand for income. It stands for inflation. Inflation is beating the heck out of it. It's making Swiss cheese out of your big piece of cheese. It's now got a bunch of holes in it.
Yeah.
So we need to stop the holes. We need to get rid of those financial moths. They make holes. I've never had that happen to me, but that's why people put mothballs. So we got some financial mothballs we sprinkle around, and we make sure to put this money in a safe place. So go over to the whiteboard now. Let's write down let's go through the numbers.
All right.
So in that blue box, you're going to write down the age 70.
All right. She's 70 years old.
Single lady.
Single.
And we drew $500,000 out, right?
$500,000.
So Greg, your job, if you decide to accept it today, is to show us how that $500,000 can be in a safe place and give her a lifetime income.
Guaranteed.
Do you accept that?
Coach, I accept your challenge.
Oh, yeah? All right, Greg. Now, again, this is a very valuable challenge you're taking on because a lot of folks watching probably have $500,000, probably have a lot of widows watching. We do have a lot of people watching each week. By the way, folks, if you like what you're watching, like it on the screen there where you can do the thumbs up, and also share with your friends because a lot of your friends probably could use this information too. So, all right, Greg, 70-year-old, single, widow, $500,000. Right now, it's all in the red bucket, which means it could go down, down, down. It could go up, up, up. There's no floor between what she can make and what she can lose, right?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And so what this lady is looking for is absolute security, knowing that she's going to be able to create that pension, so to speak, that money that's going to come to her every single month, Coach. Every single month it's going to land in her checking account, even have the taxes taken out for her because it is an IRA money.
Now, you and I are not negative people, but we have to do this every single example we do. We have to show you, what if you moved your money over into our place here, the example we're showing, and every single day for the rest of your life, for the next 30, 40, 50 years, there was not one single up market. It was down, 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 down. Now, the chances of that happening are slim to none, but it still could. Right? So we have to show you everything. So if the market went down, 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 she would not get any return whatsoever. She would get a zero, though. Now, if you had the money still in the red bucket, she would probably run out of money. She would have a zero there, too. She would have lost all her money because she would have been sharing in the gain of the market, which was a zero or negative 30 or negative 40 or negative 50. So what would she have if she put the money in here and only got zeros, what can you show us for that?
What would she get on that? Well, she would get.
And did she start taking income right away, or when
She's going to take income right away.
Right away. All right. So
right
she
away.
put the money in and starts taking income right away.
You know what's cool about this?
What's that?
Okay, the average advisor out there, they're going to ask her to take only, what, 4% out, right?
Well, we heard about the 4% rule on Wall Street, which says about only 92% of people are successful taking 4% of their money out. The other 8% or so people run out of money before they run out of life. Greg, is that our goal, is to have people run out of money when they're still here?
Well, I'm not going to.
No, we need to always make sure you have more than enough income, and then we need to make sure that your spouse gets that same income, and then when we pass away, we need to make sure our next of kin gets whatever's left.
And 4% is not going to help her make her income gap. Here's what this company's going to do.
Okay.
They're going to give her money at a rate of 6.65%, guaranteed the rest of her life. It's crazy.
We're talking about the zero, the first, Greg.
Right, no, they're going to give her 6.65% of the $500,000. So here's the thing, Coach. She's going to get annually, every year, for the rest of her life, $33,250. That's even if the market were to collapse for the rest of her life.
So could she ever run out of that money?
She'll never stop getting her income.
So she gets to be 130 years old because she still gets the income.
She'll keep getting that money.
All right, that's pretty neat.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that's because if she had her money in the red bucket like she does right now before she puts the money in the green bucket, she'd lose her money. She wouldn't have any money. She'd probably not have income after 5 or 6 years in the retirement.
It'd be gone.
Especially if the market's going down every single year, and that's what we're showing here. Now, we're not negative, are we?
No, gotcha.
What if the market did something better than zero every single year, which chances are it probably will? How can we show people that? Can we go back the last 10 years and show them what the strategy did over the last 10 years? Or how do you like
what
to
we're
do
going to do is we're going to go on the assumption that it's going to maintain what it's done over the past 10 years.
Okay, and what was that number?
All righty. And so what's going to happen is the amount of money she's going to get is going to go up every single year.
Yep.
The next
Increasing
year,
income then.
This
is assuming the market is going
assuming the market's going up.
Okay, yep.
So this increasing
income. You get the share in the gain, folks. You get the share in the gain, but you don't share in the losses. That's the magic of it. You get a zero when the market goes down. You get the share in the gain when the market goes up. It's the best of both worlds if you think about it.
Exactly. Yeah. And so the next year, she's going to get $34,673. All
right, a little bit of increasing income there. All right, what year did you decide she was going to pass away, in your example?
Well, I have her 95 years old.
The Grim Reaper. That's about, 25 years from when she started?
Yep.
What's the average life expectancy right now for a female?
Around 80 years old.
80?
78 to 80 is the average lifespan.
We're going to show her living longer.
Yeah.
Now, keep in mind, she could live to be 120, 130, 140. The income would still come to her. She'd never run out of it. But, all right, this example, she passed away at age 95 after having it 25 years. How much money did she take in that 25 years?
I need a lot of ink here. $1,000,000.
That's why I had you switch pens.
$462,819.
And she started with $500,000.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And then, all right, so then she passes away. Is there any money left in her account right then when she passes away?
At the age of 95, no. There's no legacy. However, the thing is, Coach, let's say she passed away.
She didn't really need one, I guess, right, in this example.
2 years into it.
She had 3 times what she started with as far as income, basically, but she could have continued to get that same income forever.
Absolutely.
Makes a lot of sense to me. Anything you want to add to this?
Just that every year, as long as the market goes up, she just keeps on getting money, and when she runs out of money,
all right. Let's say the market doesn't go up, she still gets money. She just doesn't get increasing money.
Let's say it was here, and then the market stopped going up.
Yeah,
she keeps getting at $34,000.
So whatever your balance, whatever the income is the year before, when the market did have a positive return, the next year the market has a negative return, so you get a zero. Yeah. You still get the amount you got the year before.
By the way, Coach, according to this, if she tops out before she runs out of money, she'll be getting $62,000.
When you say tops out, what do you, is that would
the
be
most she'll ever get?
Okay, $62,000.
$62,156.
And she started with $33,000 as income, so she almost doubled that income with no risk. See, folks, that's the magic here. We're not talking about pie in the sky. We're not talking about, hey, you got to invest in crypto or bet on the racehorse that's the underdog. No, we're saying do the safest strategy that we like out here. We're independent, so we'll go search around all the different financial institutions and insurance companies and find the best fits what you and your family are looking for. And I really like this. This would get my stamp of approval all day long, because even at the zero scenario, she's still making money. But if we have an increasing market, she's going to share in that gain, and she's going to be very happy. So, folks, If you like this example, put make sure to like it here on the screen. If you want to have one customized for you and your family, which, Greg, why wouldn't somebody want to have this in writing? Folks will show you what your own numbers would look like based on your true ages and your true money. These are hypotheticals we do here because we don't know what people have. So we take guesses by reaching in our jar, reaching in our hat, and drawing numbers out. We can do a customized example for you and your family to see where you are right now and see how soon you can retire with that income that you can't outlive. They're very, very important, isn't it, Greg?
Oh, man, complete.
So, folks, we'll see you next time right here on Annuity Avenue. Thanks, Greg.
The 4 buckets of tax classification are an important concept to consider in financial planning. These buckets help you understand how different types of income are taxed, which is crucial when planning for retirement or optimizing your investments. It's essential to understand why knowing the tax implications of each bucket matters when you're planning for retirement or making investment decisions. The tax treatment of your income can significantly affect your net returns and retirement security.
We have taxable bucket. That's paycheck bucket. You earn money, you have to pay tax on it. Then we have tax deferred. That's when you earn your paycheck and in your employer, maybe sometimes, or maybe you go down to the bank, you buy an IRA or you get a 401k with your employer, you can put the money into your account before taxes. That's where you're deferring the taxes. You're going to have to pay the taxes down the road. The big problem I have here is, yes, you get a nice little deferral. You don't have to pay tax on whatever money you put in an IRA or 401k at that time. But when you take the money out, not only do you have to pay tax on what you put into the 401k or IRA, you also have to pay tax on the gain. That's an invisible tax, and that's a tax time bomb because we have no idea. If you have a great gain, you have a great amount of taxes. That's not fun, is it? So those are the 2 buckets here when we talk about paycheck. Then we have a tax-free bucket. That's if your employer, a lot of times, they'll offer you a Roth IRA option. So the Roth IRA, you can put the money into Roth, but you can't deduct it from your tax return. In other words, if you put $3,000 into a regular IRA, you could deduct your taxable income by $3,000. So $60,000 salary down to $57,000 salary for tax purposes. But if you put that money in a Roth, the $60,000 salary, you still owe $60,000. You still have to pay tax on $60,000. But the beauty of the Roth is now it builds and builds and builds, and when you take the money out, you don't pay tax on any of it. Not the money you put in and not the gain. So big thing. So putting money into that Roth IRA is sort of like being a farmer and you're sitting on your farm one day and you see a big IRS vehicle, one of those black SUVs, the big government employees get out, 4 of them get out with their sunglasses on, look like Will Smith should be a Men in Black kind of guys. And they say, we're from the IRS. We're going to give you an offer that you have to decide today. We're going to honor it forever. We're either going to tax you on the seeds you're putting in the ground today, and we're never going to come back at harvest time. Year after year, we're not going to appear. We're never going to tax you on the harvest. Or we'll leave you alone today. Matter of fact, we'll give you a break today. We're not going to tax you on the seeds, but we're going to come back every year at harvest time, and we're going to tax you on everything you've gained from that harvest. Which choice would you do? The Roth IRA. You pay the guys one time, you pay the tax, you never have to see them again. Now, those are the 3 tax qualifications. And then we have tax-free times 2. That's utilizing the life insurance industry who has special provisions built into the IRS code to give you tax-free income, tax-free death benefit, and in many cases, tax-free long-term care payments. That's a life insurance policy. Specialized life insurance is not, they're not all the same, folks. So if you have a current life insurance policy, get that reviewed to make sure you have that tax-free times 2 that has those 3 main benefits. Tax-free income, tax-free death, but most importantly, tax-free long-term care. You can use some of your death benefit. Let's say you have $1 million policy and you have to go to a nursing home. You need $80,000. You call the life insurance company, say, I would like to take $80,000 out of my $1 million death benefit. Please send it to me. Don't tax it because it's tax-free, and I'm going to use that to pay for my nursing home. Folks, you don't need a long-term care policy anymore if you have these specialized tax-free times 2 accounts. Learn about it, if nothing else.
You and your financial advisor should be exploring how diversifying across these 4 tax buckets can impact your overall financial strategy. Spreading your assets among different tax treatments can help manage risk and potentially improve your long-term outcomes.
Knowing the 4 tax buckets is important. Diversifying amongst them, using them in other words, Very important. So we're all going to have to pay taxes. So we're going to use that tax bucket. Some money's going to have to pay tax on it. You want to pay tax because you don't want to end up in tax court or tax jail. All right. So then the IRA option will help you build up an IRA. That's a retirement account. So that's money for your retirement. Now, the Roth option there, the tax-free Roth option, gives you a tax-free retirement income to go along with your taxable income. Now, we help people. This is called tax harvesting. We decide where to take the money out in retirement to have the less taxable options for you. So you're going to have to pay tax. And then we say, well, gosh, you just retired. You've got this great amount in your IRA. We can give you a monthly or yearly income from this IRA. The only problem is you're going to pay tax on it. But we could go over to the Roth account and we can start taking money out of that account and not pay tax. But the dilemma is, maybe we should leave that account alone and let it continue to build, because it's building tax-free. The IRS wants you to take money out of the Roth as soon as possible. Now, the tax-free times 2, which is life insurance, what that does is helps you with your overall estate plan and your legacy plan and your long-term care plan. So all these 4 buckets together give you the total financial plan and keeps retirement worry-free forever, not only for you, but your spouse and your next of kin who will inherit a tax-free windfall. You've had a great life. Your goal was to make sure your kids and grandkids were fine after you. You did, but you want to make sure you had a great life, so we call it a spend and leave plan. You start with a certain amount of money in a lump sum in all these 4 accounts, and the goal is for you to have a great life and your spouse to have a great life, but when you pass away, an amount equal to or greater than you started with will pass on to your children and grandchildren tax-free. That's using true diversification, not only in the market, but in the tax code.
Understanding these tax buckets is a key element in crafting a smart, tax-efficient strategy for your retirement and investments. If you're looking for tailored advice on managing your tax strategy and enhancing your financial plan, our team is here to help. Coach Pete and the team at Capital Financial are ready to offer tips and strategies to get you where you want to be in retirement. Take advantage of the no-cost, no-obligation financial review to understand the ins and outs of your retirement plan. A customized plan based on your wants and needs. Contact us today. Also, be sure to like this video and subscribe to this channel for more retirement help.
Invest in these meme coins unless you have a strategy to get in and get out real quick. Don't sit around when it goes up a little bit with your calculator saying, well, if it goes up to this amount, I'm going to be a multi-trillionaire.
Yes.
Of course, it's never going to get there and you're going to lose all your money. So if you've doubled your initial investment, sell half of what you put in, and now you're playing with the bookies money, we call it, because you've got all the money you invested back.
There you go.
It's a whole lot easier to hold something long-term, Bruce, when it's not really costing you.
What can happen if you miss a required minimum distribution? If you know the answer to this question, you could receive a free copy in the mail of one of Coach Pete D'Arruda's latest best-selling books. Isn't that right, Coach?
Oh, yeah. We've got 2 books. Now, my newest book is Tax Savvy Retirement. It's over 200 pages of how to put you in control of the tax man before, during, and after retirement. And the big book on retirement, over 300 pages, diagramming how to get to and through retirement in the best possible position. So you'll get your choice of one of these 2 books if you answer the trivia question correctly. And Thomas, it's a multiple choice question too.
It is. All right, here are your options. What can happen if you miss an RMD? A, you get bonus interest. B, you have a 50% penalty. C, you get a Roth conversion. Or D, a tax-free withdrawal. There are some of these that you may wish it was, and there are some of these that it actually is. Let's do this.
Yeah, so all you have to do is give us your answer. You see the way to do that is to call the number you see on the screen or text, and we will give the correct winners their choice of the books.
You know, I tell people all the time, you're not getting any younger. You don't get to take any of it with you. Right. And if you think about that, it means you are supposed to spend money. But there's a lot of people who can't go into their assets to spend. They just, because, well, what if I need it? What if I live too long? And so then they end up living this suboptimal retirement. And if they can get these streams of income that they can feel confident in spending, they can actually have a better retirement.
Yeah, we call it a financial fill-up strategy. And if you remember back in the day, you'd go to the gas station, you'd go to the pump, and you'd go over a thing, it would go ding, ding. and they would run out. Back in the day, they run out and they'd change the oil, they check the oil for you, they clean the windshields, and they fill your car up. What about, why can't we have that in retirement? Why can't we pull into us or have it automatically sent to us a check every year? Have that financial fill-up strategy put you in financial cruise control.
Welcome into our series on the big book on retirement. Consumer advocate Thomas Lipscomb here with you alongside Coach Pete Deruta, President, Founding Principal of Capital Financial, America's Wealth, Financial and Income Coach. And one other thing, among many things I'm leaving off the table, the author of the book that we're discussing right now.
Yeah. Big book on retirement.
The big book on retirement. Yeah. So we are looking at devising a playbook in Chapter 3, Coach. So we've talked about picking the right coach and just making sure that we know what's going on when it comes to rules. But what about this playbook?
A playbook is another word for a plan.
Okay.
And so we have a financial playbook for all our clients. They know exactly what kind of income they can get. We know ahead of time what they're going to want to do in retirement a lot of times, and then we can put a price to that.
Yeah.
And so then we can make a playbook. So when you get to a certain age of retirement, you're going to retire, and then you can be able to start playing. So it really is a playbook, isn't it?
I like that, yeah.
But it's I've seen so many people who didn't have a playbook hit retirement and had no clue how much they could spend without worrying about outliving money.
Yeah.
And so they didn't have any fun because they were worried about spending too much, but they could have spent a whole lot more if they just had that simple playbook put together. So if you don't have a playbook, now's a good time to do it.
It absolutely is. And this playbook carries so many aspects. I mean, I was just flipping through the chapter here a little bit. It goes into long-term care planning and healthcare planning, mitigating wills and trusts and all the different elements. It all goes into the book, doesn't it? The plan.
If you don't have a will or trust, you really need to get one. I've had some deaths in my family. My wife has as well. We've had people die, relatives way far away from us on my wife's side died without a will. And that was a big process, put it that way.
Yeah.
And so get a trust or will. If you move to a different state and you already have a will or trust, make sure you get it updated to the state you're in. We have a special program we use for our clients. When you move, we just update the state. It automatically updates your estate planning documents. So you don't have to worry about paying an attorney. It's already done it for you.
Wow.
You may have to get them re-notarized. That's easy. You don't have to pay another attorney over and over again, so that's good.
There you go.
Long-term care, big issue. A lot of folks are saying, gosh, I can't afford a long-term care policy, or I've heard so many bad things about long-term care policies.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. The life insurance industry about 5 years ago stepped up, and now they give you the ability to reach into your life insurance death benefit while you're still living and have that money pay for your long-term care. So let's say you have a $1 million life insurance policy, and you have to go to a long-term care facility. You need $100,000 for that for 1 year.
Yeah.
You call the life insurance company up and say, hey, I've got to go to a long-term care facility. I need $100,000 out of my death benefit of $1 million. Send it to me, and they do tax-free.
Wow.
So you could technically do that 10 years, $100,000 a year. Your insurance will be gone, but it's served its purpose. It's helped you. And life insurance used to be for when you die. Now it's for the living. So if you haven't had that explained, or if you have a life insurance policy that doesn't have that in there, sometimes it's more affordable to get the new policy with the long-term care than it is to have the current policy. So let's get a review of that and make sure you're in control. What we've always done for 32 years, I put my clients in control of the money world instead of paying attention or not having to worry about paying attention or being beholden to whatever the money world says. Now you are paying attention without even having to, because you got Coach Pete looking out for you.
Yes.
Putting you in control of the money world. So that's what the whole chapter is about. The whole book is about too. But it's all about our premise about meeting with us so we put you in control instead of you being in the back seat. Now you're in the front seat.
Exactly.
So call and get your free review, folks.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself, folks. Call, text, however you'd like to connect with us. You see the options there on the screen. We'd be honored to sit down with you. Coach, you have an amazing team of fiduciary planners.
Put everything
here
in writing too, folks. There's no surprises because everything is in writing.
It's true.
Very important, by the way.
It's true. Folks, this has been Chapter 3. Stay tuned. Chapter 4 is right around the corner.
Thomas, what do we do on our show?
We define our terms.
Yes. What is CES?
Oh, please don't. Joe, can you help me?
Consumer Electronics Show, Thomas.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
Consumer Electronics Show, where they show all the neat stuff that's coming up that you can't afford.
Yeah, exactly.
Joe, how was the event? Was it worthwhile attending?
The event was eye-opening, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Saw a lot of cool stuff. I mean, just like you said, stuff that's not available yet, but is coming. And got to play with a few gadgets, and some of the things. And of course, I won't get into it just yet. But some of the stuff that I just walked out of the SEC or CES show and said, you know what? I understand AI now much better.
Yeah, right now it's just basically a Google on steroids.
Yeah,
is what AI is for most people. But what do you see AI becoming here in the next, let's say, 5 years and a decade?
Well, I see it really being a game changer. When you look back at the internet, and when the internet came out, it gave such usability. It gave companies a way to scale, and you see companies today coming online. I kind of like to look at it like Starbucks. Those are what I call atom companies. Those are companies that have to have thousands of stores to service millions of customers, right? Well, today, AI, you're able to deploy very, very sophisticated software using a cloud base, and companies are able to scale like nothing you've ever seen. I mean, they can go to these billion-dollar valuations literally in a very, very short period of time. And just to hear about what AI is becoming and what it is, it just opened my eyes. This year was fantastic.
So when you're a startup company, one of the main problems is finding enough people to help you get to become a big company. So I think AI can eliminate that need for a lot of employees, can it?
Absolutely. And when you look at what AI's the trajectory of AI, and of course I'm guilty of just using it for, like you said, Google on steroids, going to Chat GPT and asking, can you reword this letter for me? And that's just the way I've used it, but there's so much more application when it comes to AI.
So who are the big who had the biggest booth there at the CES?
I would say NVIDIA probably had the biggest display. They had all of their robots and cars, and probably the most interesting thing that I saw, which I saw a lot of interesting things, was the Tensor. I don't know if you've heard of that name before, but Tensor has a robocar that you're going to be able to buy, and this is an autonomous agentech type of AI that basically the steering wheel disappears, the foot pedals disappear, and this thing takes you to where you're going. And it was absolutely mind-boggling to watch this. It was just like out of a sci-fi movie. It was crazy.
So do you get in the car and you see the steering wheel and the gas pedals and they disappear in front of you, or you mean they're not even there to begin with?
No, they're there. You can drive.
Oh.
But then when the car takes over, the steering wheel pulls into the dashboard, a screen goes over, the pedals disappear into the floor, and that way the driver you can't do anything. You sit back and enjoy.
Keeps user error from happening.
That reminds me of the movie I, Robot with Will Smith, and the police were coming after him, and the whole car basically could shut itself down.
Yeah, exactly it. Right?
Did they have rides available in that car, or was it just a display?
They had it displayed in the Fontainebleau Hotel, and I'm sure at some point, certain folks probably could take a test ride, and but it wasn't there for me to do the test ride. I'd love to have done it, but it was in the hotel. You could get in it. You could check it all out. It was amazing.
Yeah. Now, NVIDIA had probably a big display too, right? Because they're a big AI company with the chips.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they had, some of their servers out there. They had some of their robots. They had some video of futuristic goals that they're pressing toward, and just a huge display.
What really surprised you, like you weren't expecting to see at CES this year?
Obviously AI was going to be there, no doubt.
Yep.
But probably the thing that it wasn't, so I guess it wasn't so much of what I saw, it was the impression that I took away. And it was like embracing AI as more of a platform that you put in your business, that you put to work in your life. That was probably the greatest thing that I took away. Probably the coolest things that I saw was the robocar. That was off the chart. A lot of the smart glasses, I don't know if you've ever tried those, but the smart glasses, especially if I was a retiree, I'm 52, the smart glasses is going to be a game changer. If I was a retiree, 60, 65, I tell you right now, I would 100% get these smart glasses. because they're freaking amazing. I don't know if you've ever tried any.
I bought them twice and never used them. I got the first generation, and then I just got this. I didn't buy the second one. I got it as a gift on Christmas time, but I haven't ever used them. But I have seen online there are some non-name brand smart glasses. You get these ads on Facebook all the time. One would translate for you. One would tape every single minute of your day, just in case you forgot what was going on. Which again is good for people as we get older. We forget things.
Yeah,
so you can't say you don't remember anymore.
You just look at it through the glasses and say, hey, remind me of what this looks like. I was going to say another thing I saw that was good because I brush my teeth. I know it's kind of corny, but I brush my teeth, I floss, but I hate doing it. But I still do it 2 times a day. And they had toothbrushes there that you were able to brush and floss at the same time. And so it was made by a company, SpeakEasy, I believe, SOCCAS, and check that out if you ever get a chance. It was really cool.
Now, that's pretty funny because, in order to, because there's a gap between your teeth, that's where the floss has to go. So how does it know that? Does it have a camera built into the toothbrush?
Well, it has a water spout
like a water
on
jet?
it. Yeah.
Okay.
Like nanobots going in and just doing their job for a few seconds.
Now, speaking of bots, what kind of personal robots did you see?
Well, they had robots folding clothes. They had them moving dishes around in the kitchens, and so a lot of homemaking type robots that I found very cool because most of the ones you see are the ones that's sweeping up the floor. And the little black thing running around, but
we have a couple of those here. We have a couple of those here. I think of when you talk about folding clothes, I think about the Jetsons. Rosie. Yeah. Rosie was a little maid robot, and so one thing I hate doing is laundry, but I do my own laundry, and I really hate folding. So I would buy a robot today if they would get promised to fold my clothes, then hang them.
Well, it was a little slow. But I could see over some time that the technology is really going to emerge. Now, I met the new owner of Napster while I was there, and Napster, you remember from the 90s.
Yeah, a long time ago. Yep.
This guy, he bought the Napster company, and he now that program now you can use it for like young artists. Any artist could use it. And basically, it will take your music that you're making and license it. It does the whole thing for you. It's something you probably should check out at some time.
Thomas wanted to ask about the TVs.
Yeah. So I saw an announcement that, and I'm not sure the brand, it might have been LG, but they did a wallpaper television that was less than a centimeter thin. Did you see that there?
Yes, that was really cool. I took a bunch of pictures, got some info, and that's something that I'm very interested in purchasing.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing, isn't it?
Absolutely.
The technology there.
And there were several different brands there. They had some from China, some various places. But yeah, your major TV brands were there. They had their displays. But the TV, that screen was super. You could literally glue it to the wall. It's crazy.
So how big was this? Did they have it in the convention center and then already spread out to different hotels, or they have it all over different hotels?
That was a little overwhelming. You had several of the convention halls set up, and then they had 5 of the major hotels that they had speakers and panelists off and on all day long. I thoroughly enjoyed listening to some of the panelists talk and just hearing some of the techie guys and some like Hollywood producers and CEOs. Just hearing them all collaborate together was very powerful, and it was.
Hollywood's not going to have these gigantic scenes anymore. They're not going to pay a whole bunch of people. They'll just have it all in CGI. Well, something more advanced than CGI, but they'll be able to do it all on a computer. Sort of like Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones did a lot of that, by the way. Too. Yeah, they did a lot of graphics added on.
One of the gentlemen from Warner Brothers, he was talking about that. He I don't know if you know this yet, but they're coming out with a Barbie 2. That's what he said, that they're making the Barbie 2 movie, and it's going to have some of these effects and all this stuff in, and it's going to be really, really good.
Pretty amazing. Now tell folks, you're not just a normal person that's going to CES. You've got a pretty big tech background. Where'd you go to college?
Well, I went to Ohio State, and I've attended MIT, and, I love tech. I love digging into the stuff, and just, I'm the guy that wants to know how the watch works.
I
Now,
get it.
you said Ohio State. Usually when someone says Ohio State, they say the Ohio State.
The Ohio State, yeah. Yeah.
Thomas, you've heard that before,
Oh,
right?
yes.
Yeah, you watch any football game when the guys announce where they're from. Go, the Ohio State. So, which I've been to Columbus. It's a nice place. I mean, I've been to Notre Dame too. Those are like nice college towns.
Yeah, I had a Subway store not far from campus there on 23, and it was the #1 Subway store in Columbus because of the college. And
There you go.
It's good old days back then.
Yeah.
Nice.
Now, you were looking at a lot of things there, and I'm sure because you're a big investor too. You like to invest in stocks
Sure.
and play the market the right way. Do you see any? Did you notice any maybe small companies that no one's ever heard of that you might think are ready to explode? With the products they have.
The one thing that I'm looking for when I'm looking for these types of investments, I'm looking for people that have big vision and then that are looking to be a disruptor. You take Elon Musk. His goal is to colonize Mars. I mean, that's just like way up there. And these companies, fortunately, when you aim high, that you might not hit the stars, but you're going to get into the atmosphere of space, and that's what, when you're looking at these companies, seeing the technology and hearing their ambitions, do they have an open architecture that you could see this company really making some waves?
I would say a recent example of that is NVIDIA. We just had a clip on our show recently where the president was talking about, because we provide the chips to everybody, they're that foundational structure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's important to get those kind of companies, but then also the ones that no one's heard of yet, and then all of a sudden
Exactly.
everyone hears about, but it's too late to get in almost.
So true. So true.
It's the meteoric rise, they call it. So, what was your favorite interactive display? Because a lot of these companies spend millions sometimes on their displays.
Well, one of the displays that really caught my attention was they had a display there where they had an omnidirectional treadmill, and there was a guy that was in the VR suit, and basically he was in Ready Player One. Total. I mean, he had the whole get up, and they had a bunch of demonstrations going on, lots of people in those suits, and I was watching what they were seeing in the TV, and I thought, oh my God, gaming is coming it has came a long way, and this is the evolution of the gaming industry right here.
When you think about gaming growing up, it was the fat kid that would just sit inside and play and sit in front of the TV. But now you have interactive gaming where you can get in shape by playing games. And that makes sense. I told Thomas, and Jose, you've probably heard this too. Back in the day, I played a game called Halo.
Oh, yeah.
Halo was on, I had the Xbox back then.
Me
and
too.
my rule back then, and my bedroom was underneath my workout room, so my wife would hear me because I'd start playing the game like at 12 at night and go all the way. But my rule was I had to ride the exercise bike while I was playing Halo.
Nice.
So it was funny.
Nice.
So when I started being chased, I would pedal faster, even though it had nothing to do with the game. But I was in really good shape, so I made myself work out to play the game. But now you're going to have to work out to play the games, because if not, you're going to get killed too easy on the game.
One thing that did stand out too, that I just never had thought of this, but listening to a lot of the CEOs of these different companies speak, and some of the producers at Hollywood, they are bringing influencers out now and allowing them to stream from the TV set. They're bringing them into these companies and allowing them to stream to their audiences. And that's how these movies, they clearly said it, that's how these movies go through these huge ticket sales prior, as the movie's coming out, because they let these streamers are coming in, and I thought that was very, very interesting.
You have to build the excitement, because back in the day, they would wait maybe 6 months before a movie would come out. You started hearing about it, then you started seeing advertisements on TV, but it would be like a 6-month runway into the movie. Nowadays, the movies don't even go to this theater a lot of times. They come right to Netflix or Amazon or something like that. So everything's changing, and influencers are becoming a big part of that.
Oh,
too.
big part. I was very impressed with that. One word I'll drop in there for you is agentic AI. It's something that you probably want to get to know better. That's going to probably be a $1 trillion industry before you know it, and that's something to really explore. Find companies that are focused on agentic type of AI. That's going to be your autonomous type AI. And that's going to be the big thing here down the road.
So AI without you having to be around, I guess.
That's
right?
exactly
without you
it.
having to pilot it. Okay.
The self-driving car, for example, would be a Gentic AI.
Okay. What about, that's what we always hear about, self-driving car. What else could we, like, what other, you think it'd be self-driving planes down the road?
Oh, boy.
You get on a plane, there's no pilot up there?
I'm sure that'll eventually be the case. I don't want to be that first few guys that get in there and,
Anything else that excited you during the show?
I just going through and just seeing the technology, seeing the massage chairs, that was pretty exciting because now they've got them where they'll stretch your whole body out, and so that was pretty nice. Really, just being overwhelmed is probably the word. You can only see so many things before your brain's like,
oh yeah.
But there was so many cool things. There was a couple. I'll tell you something that I saw that was really interesting, and you may have seen these before, and you may not. They had crafts there that are full size, and you can put 1 or 2 people in and fly them around. It's a giant drone that you can fly your body around in. Like I could get in, I could buy this thing, get in it here at my house, and fly on the other side of town to my buddy's house. And
that would come in handy in New York City where they have a lot of traffic, wouldn't it? You just fly over the traffic.
I couldn't believe what I was seeing. When I was looking, I was like, wow, either I'm behind on my knowledge here or this is new. And so
do you get in it like I remember Orville and Wilbur Wright? They get in there like
pretty much.
Like Superman. Is that what you need? Is it big enough? It's a big drone then. It's a
big drone. It's got big blades on it, and I'm sure it has some limitations, but you can literally get in this thing and fly over to your buddy's house.
Got to make sure you don't cut somebody's head off with those blades too, right?
Oh yeah, Them blades were no joke. They were huge.
What is it? Battery powered, I guess, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, did it have new battery technology coming out? Did you see anything like that? Because that's always a big thing. Sodium batteries.
I didn't see very much on that. I'm sure it was there because obviously the battery is powering all of our stuff. We want better and better. Jackery had some great solar batteries there. They had a huge gazebo design that you can buy and put in your backyard. At the same time, it's a whole charging station. So that was kind of cool.
That's pretty cool,
yeah.
So, how did they have the show? I know you said it was spread out all amongst a bunch of different hotels and the conference, whatever they call the convention center. How they have the booths divided? Did they have them in different sections? Like you went to Tomorrow World over here, and you went to sort of like Disney. You had different places, or
yes, they had it customized by theme, and so you could see some of the cars here. You could see some of the health and nutrition things. Oh, that's another thing I saw. I saw this one. Workout gym. It's called Monster Gym, I believe was the name of Gym Monster. That's the name of it.
Okay.
And this is the granddaddy of home fitness. It's a very small thing that you can literally fold up, but it's got the technology built into it. It's like having 200-300 pound weights that you can bench press, you can do all kinds of stuff, and this whole thing just folds out, and it was made really, really well. I was like, wow. But when you're done, you just literally fold it up, and it's like hardly
That's amazing.
anything.
So what innovation made you say, why hasn't this existed before?
I would say the drone was probably that. I was like, wow, I'm surprised it's kind of taken this long because drones has been out for a long, long time.
Oh, yeah.
And and again, I may just be behind in that area, but when I saw that, I was just like, wow. The gaming, I'll tell you, the gaming came a long, long way. Just seeing those people in the full gear, I can't remember the name of what you call that, but just seeing the folks in the VR glasses and the suits, and then watching them play the game on the TV, it was just amazing.
All right, 2 more points and then I'll let you go. But I mean, your phone, I've always told Thomas, there's going to come a time where we're not carrying our phone around all the time. I mean, it's a burden a lot. But I have my credit cards in here too, so this is my wallet basically. But I mean, is there going to come a time where you don't have to have a phone, but you can still have all the functionality you have with the phone right now?
I think so. I think eventually you're going to have some type of futuristic device that, whether that's a band you put around your wrist, and it has a small projection that when you hit the button, it kind of pops up, and you got everything kind of almost in the air. I did see a phone there, though, that was really, really amazing. It was a very, very thin phone that it was like a trifold. It folded out, and it was the size of an iPad. And it was big, but then when you folded it back up, it was basically like this iPhone I got right here. That was really interesting. Samsung, it was one of their brands, and it was pretty much brand new. So eventually you'll probably see that hit the market at some point.
Because all these companies are trying to come out with the thing that replaces the phone, right? So but it's I guess it's a ways down the road. Now, if this wasn't your first trade show, you've been to CES before, right?
Yeah.
How do you compare this to others?
Well, it'd been a while since I had been, and this one just it seemed to have a lot more action. You just saw a lot more people. There were a lot more gadgets, and just I think the thing that I believe really made the difference was the panelists that they had pulled together, and I'm sure they're going to keep doing this more and more in the future, and that was really impressive.
So did you go to some of the speeches?
Yeah, it was like I went to a conference. I went to a conference and I went to a trade show.
What was your favorite speaker? Who was your favorite speaker?
It was a panelist that basically was speaking on the future of the coaching and digital marketing industry, and it was a combination of you had a guy there from Twitch. You had a guy. One of them was a Hollywood producer. Substack had a big presence there. I don't know if you know what Substack is. It's like YouTube, except you own your own stuff. And so that was probably some of the highlight of the speaking and panelist. Yeah.
I've told my staff we need to have a Substack page, but it never happens.
Yeah,
so I guess I'm going to do it again. Thomas is getting worried. I see him over there.
I was very impressed. The owner of Substack was there, and he was talking about where they're at, where they're going. And just how they, work with the people that's on their site. So definitely check that out.
So you say this year's like just more bigger, more faster, more better.
Yeah.
It sounds like just everything that the excitement level seems to be higher.
I think the excitement level was super high because AI was just everywhere.
And if you could just put yourself back in those couple days, you were there for 2 or 3 days probably. What was the most exciting moment that you had, where you just felt excited about the future?
Oh, that's when I won. I pulled the handle, and all of a sudden, this big thing started flashing. It said I won.
Oh yeah, How much did you win? How much did you win? You win a lot.
Well, I'd say
for IRS purposes, we'll keep it under 10,000.
Yeah, we'll keep it under 10,000. But I would say probably the biggest thing was leaving the show. I felt like I had a new perspective on what AI is really going to become down the road, and it got me really fired up. I'm thinking about going back and taking some classes at MIT on Agentech and on some of that AI so that I can better incorporate it into my business and so forth. So very excited about it.
Well, here's one thing I just forgot. I said it was my last question, but I got one more here. But blockchain, we've heard so much about blockchain over the years.
Yeah.
Were there any blockchain type companies there showing you what the future is going to be in blockchain?
Yes. There was some companies there illustrating, some of their stuff and blockchain. Absolutely. And blockchain is going to continue to emerge, especially with quantum computer. And you put blockchains and quantum computers together, that's going to be a huge deal, especially when we have access to it.
Yeah, I really think that's the future of voting. If we can perfect the voter ID, then if people vote on the blockchain, there'll be no more cheating anymore.
That's exactly right.
And so that's the way to go. One final thing: your favorite restaurant while in Vegas?
My favorite restaurants, believe it or not, it was just Gordon Ramsay's Burger Bar at the Planet Hollywood.
I've heard good things about that, actually. He's got some of his other places, like Hell's Kitchen is good, but it's expensive and it's a long wait. But the Burger Bar is good. The best steakhouse I've ever been to there is the Golden Steer.
Oh, yeah.
Golden Steer.
Yeah,
it's featured in the movie Casino.
Yeah.
It's one of the old-timey ones, but it's one of the best steaks ever. So just keep that in mind. You've probably been there before.
Yeah.
All right. His name is Joe Casey, and he's one of the guys that I like to talk to when we talk about tech and also investing. Joe, thanks for your time today.
Hey, thanks for having me, Coach Pete. Love it. Look forward to seeing you again soon and hanging out with you anytime, man. Call me anytime.
Hey, if people wanted to contact you, how could they do that?
They could simply just go to catalystwealthcoaching.com, and you'll find all my information right there.
There you go. Thanks a lot, Joe. Take care. We'll look forward to talking to you again in the future.
Yes, sir. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Hey, I'm Coach Pete D'Arruda, president of Capital Financial. Folks, the financial world is very, very confusing. That's why we put together a series of educational videos called webinars. You can see them at any time by signing up at CoachPete.com. We'll see you there.
This is a little green book of life. It's on Amazon. I've had it out for years. It's 100 pages. It's interactive, though, where it asks you estate planning questions. It asks you where your money is, where your life insurance is, what's the phone number of the life insurance company. The problem is my father passed away this year, and this came in handy because he actually did fill some of this out before he passed away. When you pass away, people don't know. Like, you have these secrets. Well, what's my Facebook passcode? You know, you can put it all in here. So when you pass away, nobody wants to even think about it, but you can even write your own obituary in here. So now it makes it a whole lot simpler when you pass away. The next of kin could be all
It's
taken
so
care of.
important.
Little green book of life.
Especially now with crypto assets and everything. I mean,
yes.
I've often said that, at least with my wife and I, if we know each other's cell phone password, we could probably do it, because then she gets Bill's email that I don't know about. I get stuff email she doesn't know about. But the passcode, at least you could go in and change passwords to different accounts if you had to. So I think that's critical. But I mean, think about all these people who own Bitcoin or things like that, and they're going to die. And if you don't have that exact code, it's gone. In fact, I think about 10 or 15% of Bitcoin, it's already been lost.
Well, the story the other day, the guy finally gave up. He was going to the dump. His wife threw away his computer. She was doing spring cleaning, and on his computer had his Bitcoin codes. And he searched the dump for over 10 years looking for it, because it was worth like $1 billion, and he never found it.
If you were a farmer, and I've used this analogy before, and you had a field, and you're out in your field, you're planting corn seeds that day, and you look into the entrance of the farm, you see a big dust cloud coming, and it's 3 big SUVs pulling up into your yard, and they get out of the farmhouse, and 3 guys get out of each one of those with sunglasses on, looking like Men in Black. And they say, Mr. Farmer, we're going to give you a choice today, and this is going to be a lifetime choice, and you better think about it. And they say, we're either going to tax you today on the corn, there's little corn niblets you're putting in the ground. We're going to tax you on that little bag of corn niblets, and we're going to leave forever. Or we're going to not tax you today. You don't have to pay tax today, Mr. Farmer. You get a great day. You're not going to pay tax. But we're going to be back every single year that you harvest and tax you on every ear of corn forever. As the farmer, which one would you take? Well, you know what the average American is doing? They're saying, oh, thanks for the choice, Mr. IRS. We would gladly not pay taxes today. We'll see you every single harvest season forever. And then we'll also see you on our harvest when we die. So, no. The answer is no. Don't use those tax-deferred accounts all the time, or don't get addicted to them, because there are better choices out there.
So let's talk about healthcare, because between healthcare, Medicare, and healthcare long-term care, there's a lot of risk for seniors, because, you know, every person I know now, I play a lot of golf with a lot of seniors.
You do a great job playing golf, by the way.
Everybody's got a condition or a situation.
Yeah. Well, it happens. And so one thing we can't plan for is the unexpected. But we have to have money put aside for those unplanned events, called an emergency account or whatever, or liquid money. And so if you lock all your money away, if you're putting it all in these stocks that you're hoping are going to one day go way up and they're not, you feel like you're captive to your investments. Like I've talked to a lot of millionaires, but they have all their money tied up. They don't feel like they're millionaires at all. So it's about having financial freedom. And if you set your portfolio up the right way, Tom, like you've done, you can feel financial freedom. I can tell by looking at you, you feel financial free.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not just talking the talk, I'm walking the walk.
Right.
And I'm out there every day and play golf 4 to 5 days a week.
I see you.
Pickleball 2 days a week. I mean, I'm taking it serious. My wife and I are going on a Viking cruise from Budapest to Amsterdam. That's what retirement's supposed to be about.
Having fun.
Is having fun. And that's what I'm doing.
Welcome back into our series on the big book on retirement. I'm Thomas Lipscomb, again here with you alongside the best-selling author himself, Coach Pete D'Arruda. Chapter 4, if you have your book in front of you, you already know what I'm going to say, but it is prioritize training and conditioning. This is a good one, Coach. Yeah. So prioritize training and conditioning. When I think about this, I think working out and getting myself in better shape than I am right now.
Get your body in shape, but get your mind in shape and make sure your plan's in shape.
Okay, yeah.
All right? So same kind of concept. I mean, you can tell if you ever watch a sporting event, some teams look more prepared than others.
It's true. So that's a good thing. Now, preparing for a sport, you may run, you may do some cardio, then you may want to work on your
lift weights, these kind of things.
What about retirement? You've got top 10 ways to prepare for retirement here. So this is basically that training regimen for retirement.
Yeah, one is to familiarize yourself with your Social Security benefits or have a planner who can tell you the best options to take. Medicare supplements. These kind of got to line those up because once you're 65, you're off health insurance now, you're on Medicare.
There you go.
And so if you can't afford Medicare, the state has a program called Medicaid. And we've heard some people brag about how they had some advisor talked them into spending down all their money. In other words, giving their money away, retitling it in their kids' names or whatever, getting themselves down. It looks like they don't have much money so they can go qualify for Medicaid, which the state takes care of you. The problem, there's a lot of problems here. If you do that, the government can go back 5 years and saw you move money on purpose. You can get in trouble for that.
Yeah.
And do you really want the government to decide where they're going to put you? If you're on Medicaid, you have no control about what facilities you go to. And they're not going to be, many times they're not going to be the best.
Right.
But if it's better for folks that don't have any other option, it's good, but it shouldn't be abused. Let's say you retitle all your assets in your son's name and he decides to get married. So now half the assets are belonging to his wife now, your daughter-in-law. Let's say they get a divorce and she leaves, half your money goes with her.
Oh, no.
So be very careful. Or let's say leave it all in your son's name and he's driving down, let's say, Highway 40 and he's not paying attention. He rear-ends somebody and kills somebody. They could sue him for all the money he has, which is your money. It's all gone.
That's true.
So be very careful about trying to play these games. But that's just one thing. Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, what else we have?
So there's a lot going on here. And I think the main one that I want to focus on is actually the very last one, and that's ask the right questions.
Oh, yeah. Well, a lot of people are afraid to ask questions to begin with. Don't be afraid to ask questions, and don't be afraid to ask for the answers in writing, by the way.
Good.
We give all our answers in writing because someone can say anything, and then they can deny they said anything if you don't have it in writing.
Yes.
So make sure you get it in writing. It shouldn't be confrontational anyway. We are here to help you. We want to make sure that you have the best retirement possible, and any planner should do that too. So every decision we make is in your favor. That's the definition in my mind of a fiduciary.
Yes.
Always doing what's best for you. If we benefit, so we explain when we benefit, but we can't take commissions out of your money, number one, as a fiduciary. So if you have somebody taking commissions out of your money, they're not a real fiduciary.
Yeah, I love that.
So again, the more money you can keep for yourself, the more money you're going to have later, and the more you can understand fees and commissions and eliminate those. We call those financial termites. You're in control now instead of the termites.
Yeah, that's great.
We do it all for you, and we explain it in the book, and then we can explain it in person if you'd like to meet with a planning team at no cost. The information's on your bookmark, or you can see the number on the screen.
It's amazing that you do it at no cost because there's so much value behind this. But folks, make sure you are asking the right questions. I think as you've head through the first few chapters of this book, you'll see that it's all about preparing, conditioning, getting that plan in place, and we're going to get into even more detail later on. But make sure you're asking the right questions. Contact Coach Pete and the team today. You see the numbers and information on your screen. Get that total retirement income plan.
We say be prepared, not surprised. Just be careful of where you put your money. Make sure not to put all your money in one place.
Yeah.
Pick out 20 that you really like. Make sure they're not meme coins unless you're going to actively watch that and get in low and get out quick in a matter of hours or seconds.
That's good, yeah.
I like long-term holding. I like Bitcoin. I like Ethereum. I like, I like Solana, and I like Ripple, and I also like Nano, and I like T7X, and there's a couple other ones out there. There's some good ones out there. So, but you need to find what you like. This isn't investment advice. You pick what you want, but I'm just saying pick strong ones. Pick ones that aren't overly feeing you. That's one thing I don't like about Bitcoin and Ethereum is the gas fee, the transactional fee. I think eventually, they've done a good job of getting us to this location here we are in the crypto world. I think Bitcoin and Ethereum will always be here, but I think there'll be other coins that come up that people start trusting and believing in that are a lot cheaper to use to transact with. Hey, I'm Coach Pete D'Arruda, president of Capital Financial. Folks, the financial world is very, very confusing. That's why we put together a series of educational videos called webinars. You can see them at any time by signing up at CoachPete.com. We'll see you there.
thanks for spending a little bit of time with us here on our info series, Women and Money. I've got Miss Jana, Miss Amanda,
Hi.
I'm Jackie, and Coach Pete. He is giving us all the great information. We're asking him questions. How do we proceed through the stages of our lives as women with our own money? And one of those is securing lifetime income. Is this only a discussion for pre-retirees?
I think it's any time. I mean, we need to always talk about it until we accomplish it. And once we accomplish it, we always need to be thinking how we can get more than one stream of income. You know, when we retire, we got Social Security, supposedly.
Hopefully.
Get that income. But we also need to have some money that we put aside on our own in our 401ks,
Yes.
our thrift savings plans, our 403b, wherever we save that money. But the problem there is we save, and we build up this nice lump sum. We see the lump sum, it looks nice. So you won that race, you built up that money. The problem is there's another race getting ready to start, and that's the race to retirement income. How do we get the most income we could qualify for without ever running out of money? And so that's when we do income planning. We've heard that before. Based on your lump sum right here, how much can we translate that lump sum into to give you a lifetime income you can't outlive for you and your spouse? And we do that every day. And so the answer to your question, it was a long answer, is anytime you're ready, we can discuss income.
Okay.
But once you get it discussed and accomplished, you never have to worry about it again.
That is a beautiful thing.
That's a good thing. Get it, that little green check mark.
I wish they
put
would
in
teach
front of
this.
it.
Aren't they going to start teaching this in school?
Well, they're
They've
not,
said that
and
for
they're never going to teach it the
right.
right way. You need to deal with someone who really specializes in lifetime income, not just how to save and where to save and what to do there. It's how to get that lifetime income you deserve. And most folks don't specialize in this. They specialize in trying to grow your money, grow, but never tell you how to preserve, protect, and give you lifetime income. That's what Coach Pete does.
The hidden fees is the one thing that
financial
the termites.
Financial termites.
Oh my gosh.
All in some of these plans. So and you can't see them.
No.
Sort of like a real. That's why we call them financial termites.
Yeah.
Termites at home are invisible, but they're doing damage. Fees in your portfolio are invisible, but they're doing a ton of damage. They could take half your income away if you don't know what you're doing. So let us analyze your portfolio first, a forensic financial fee analysis we call it, and identify all the unnecessary risk, fees, commissions you're taking, and then put a plan together that makes more sense for what you're trying to do. Have income all the way through retirement. We do it every day.
Yeah, because we're just kind of, I feel like we're going through life and putting money in this 401k account. You know, you're a busy woman.
And you go
both are
without
busy.
because you're putting money in this plan. This plan better be working, and it better be more money than I put in the future, or why didn't I just have fun with this money?
And you haven't diversified. You've messed up. You've put all your eggs in one basket, and then all of a sudden, here you are high and dry at retirement age.
The income basket needs to have a whole lot of eggs in it when we get close to retirement, because they're going to hatch all the way through retirement. You're never going to have any worries again.
Yeah, we like that. We know how to make eggs hatch.
Yeah.
We do the income plans better than anybody out there. I guarantee I'm 33 years doing this. So that's a long time, by the way. I know I have boyish good looks. but I
just
am
wanna-
59.
I want to make the point that it's so important because if women think they're going to live on just Social Security and
That's scary.
Right, take a little money out of that IRA that used to be our 401k. You might run out of money. And women 65 and over are more likely to face poverty.
Well, if they don't do the right plan.
That's right.
My clients
That's
never have
scary.
poverty because we put an income plan together that guarantees they'll never be in poverty.
Great.
Unless you spend all the time and then spend more than you have, or go to Vegas and get into debt with credit cards. There's nothing anyone can do about that. But we'll show you how to properly use credit cards, how to properly have fun, and to have income you never have to worry about outliving. It's not as hard as you think. And there's nothing to be intimidated by the money world. I know the big words are used a lot of times to try to intimidate you. Like when you go to a doctor, they try to use these big words.
Don't I know
the
it?
pharmaceutical industry, these drugs are like this long, like the words are, and then the disclaimer at the end, all the bad things that can happen, it's probably worse than the regular thing. I just got my shingles shot today, first one, by the way. So we'll do an update on this next time we do one of these. But you're supposed to do one shingle shot now, and then I have to get another one done like three months
booster,
from now.
yes.
But the good thing is the side effect of following your plan is you're going to have long-term growth and retirement money.
The side effects to Coach Pete's plan is lifetime income and having to spend money. Sometimes here's what happens, guys. You don't believe this.
Hopefully no shingles.
But I'll meet with folks after a year or two in retirement, and I'll look and I'll say, you're not spending all the income we have put aside for you, because they're worried they're going to outlive it. I said, no, look, this money's going to come every year. It's never going to stop coming, so spend it.
Right.
Because your kids will if you don't. So spend it now, have fun with it.
Isn't that true?
Yes.
Well, how do you create, you talk about the simplest way. So for me, I just worry. I'm a anxiety-driven kind of person. I worry so much. So what is the simplest way to just start, to just create this plan?
The simplest way to start worrying, to stop worrying, to stop worrying, is to do a plan. Because we all worry. We worry, and we We worry because we're afraid of what's going to happen, but we never do something about it. So we stay worried and we give ourselves an ulcer when all it takes is a 1 hour meeting with me for me to figure out where you are now and what you want to do, and then another 1 hour meeting for me to present my team and I have come up with to put you in control. Now I do a lot more work behind the scenes, but for you it's only 2 hours and we can get you all set. So that's 2 hours of never worry again.
Okay. That's the baby steps you talk about.
Baby steps, and we show you, and we actually outline it for you. We tell you the who, the why, the where, the wow, the why, and the what.
All of it.
All that and the how. And we do it all for you though. So we show you what we did, but we also tell you how we did it just in case you want to do it yourself. So there's nothing worse than somebody just throwing something in front of you and you not knowing, like when you go to get, let's say a dozen donuts and they charge you $29 and you say, wait a minute, it's a dozen donuts, let me see the receipt.
Yeah.
So we show you the receipts to show you how we got to where we got.
Yeah.
Okay?
I think
so it's important to see the receipts.
Today we've talked about so many different stages. You know, we went from graduating college to getting married to getting divorced, and here we are, you know, approaching retirement or being in retirement. But a lot of people just think, I'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'll wait. It's not
So
right
true.
now. There's so much right now that's on my mind. I'm just going to put it off. And a week becomes a year. And then 10 years down the road, I'm like, oh my God, I could have done so much.
Yeah.
Had I just stopped and called you and had you do it for me.
It's so easy to procrastinate. We all do it.
We
So
do.
Yes.
again, it's about making that step. This is a lifetime decision. A lot of people are afraid it's your money. I understand it's your money, but leaving it where it is not a solution a lot of times. If it's at risk right now, we've been pretty spoiled the last 15 years or so. We haven't had a market crash, one of these big ones that stays down.
Yeah.
What if you left all your money at risk and it was going up, and then all of a sudden we have the roller coaster and it goes down, 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 and then you get ready to retire and it keeps going down? You're in trouble because number one, you don't have a guaranteed lifetime income plan yet. And then when you have to start taking money out, you're taking it out, and it's way down, you're locking in your losses, and you're having to take out more stock than you ever imagined because the stocks are way down in value. So we have a solution for this. Again, we'll do a forensic fee analysis. We'll do that total retirement plan, we call it, and we'll give you a GPI plan: growth, protection, lifetime income. There's not much more anyone can ask for in this, and this puts you, man or woman, in charge of retirement.
I love the sound of that.
And you get confidence when you do that, so you don't worry anymore. I've taken people that were worried, and they were still working, and told them they could retire tomorrow. Matter of fact, they could have retired 2 or 3 years ago if they met me, and put a plan together now that gives them double the income they were going to get if they kept working. We can do that. It's about lifetime income planning, utilizing what's available out there, telling the market to take a hike, by the way. We don't need the stock market once it's done the good job. That's the second phase of the relay race, is safe money and lifetime income, and you never run out of money. Perpetually goes around and around, sort of like playing Monopoly and never worry about going to jail. You're always passing go.
Hey.
And we can do that for you.
I love
You
that.
make it sound easy.
It is a lot easier than Wall Street tries to make it look. The hardest thing, though, is getting you to pick up your phone and calling us to schedule an appointment. We're trying to help you. I know I don't like going to the doctor or dentist either. They're trying to help me as well. We are really trying to help you, and this is a way for you to perhaps get 50% more lifetime income than you ever imagined. 50% more than you were going to get.
Get started today.
Get started today. We'll show you how your numbers work with your numbers and your life.
Call Coach Pete.
.54% of Americans say that inflation is the number one risk that they're facing. And I mean, prices have gone up. I went to Vegas a while back and I just kept saying, that's crazy, that's crazy, that's ridiculous, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
How do people handle inflation?
It is, I have a radio show, been about 22 years on national radio, and we've talked about inflation for years, but no one would pay attention. Now, the last 5 years, people are now starting to pay attention. Right. Things are getting, and they were getting more expensive as we went on because there's no 49-cent gas anymore we had in the 70s, but it was so slow. It's sort of like when you put a frog in a pot of water, and you turn up the heat very slowly, he'll boil to death eventually. Whereas if you have the boiling pot already boiling, you drop a frog and he'll jump out. So now we're starting to notice it because we're seeing that boiling water. That's the inflation. So what are you going to do about it? Make sure that your assets are outperforming inflation.
Right.
We can't have our money sitting in a CD. That's losing money safely, we call it, because CDs are paying, let's say, 3%, but inflation's 5% back in the day when inflation was 6, 7, 8. But inflation's still pretty high. So we have to have our money growing faster than inflation rate. But we also don't want to take too much risk with that money.
Right.
Because you're not going to keep up with inflation at all if you're losing money.
Yeah, and the knock on income annuities is they don't protect against inflation. Well, there's several ways to do it. Number one, you can buy inflation protection, a cost of living that your check goes up every year. There are some companies out there that if the market goes up, your check will go up, but it won't go down. It'll only go up. That's one way. And so the other way is, you do what I do, and that I got 13 of them, and I've laddered them so that they kick in at different times, but that increases my income over my life.
The negative things I've heard about annuities over the year, Tom, and especially from some of the writers who don't understand the financial world, they write they pick one annuity out of a bucket of thousands, and let's say they grab a variable annuity. Right. Now, I've never offered a variable annuity. I don't really believe in them. There's some good ones that seem to be coming out now, but back in the day there haven't been, but they have a lot of fees and mortality expenses, and you can lose money. So you put money in, it can go down. So the true annuities that we've always offered, you have that ratcheting up effect. The worst case scenario is you get a 0 for the year. But if you get a 0, that means everybody else is probably negative 10, 20, 30, who knows where they are.
Right.
So the next year you're starting from here, they're starting from down there. So when it goes up, you're going up. So you're not going to get rich quick in an annuity, but you're never going to get poor.
Folks, we have a very interesting guest this week. Matter of fact, if you've ever heard of something called the 4% rule in the money world, we're going to have the inventor of the 4% rule, Mr. Bill Bengen, on. And Bill is joining us from Tucson, Arizona today. Bill, welcome in.
Oh, thanks for inviting me. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. Now, like I said, you're the inventor of the 4% rule. How did you come about that, and what inspired the research behind this 4% rule that we hear about?
Sure. I was a relatively new financial planner back in the early 90s. Not a young one. It was a second career, but I got into that, and I started fielding questions from my clients who were, basically baby boomers with about 20 to 25 years to retire, and they were just starting to think seriously about how much they should be saving and what they could spend in retirement. And I tried to find guidance on, the spending withdrawals, and couldn't find anything anywhere. No books, no magazines. All other financial advisors were all over the map with their answers. So I decided to sit down with a computer and find solutions myself.
Well, you said this is your second career, and I want to tell folks a little bit about you. You were born in Brooklyn, New York in 1947, and then you went to MIT as a rocket scientist. You had a BS in aeronautics and astronautics from MIT. That is fascinating. Then you worked for your family's soft drink bottling company after that. So you have a research mentality, don't you?
Yeah, I've learned something for every career I was in.
Tell me a little bit about the bottling career. That's a fascinating concept to me.
Yeah, well, that business had been in our family since the 1880s. It started out as a small backyard soft drink business in Brooklyn. In those days, soft drinks were not consumed year-round. Generally, they'd shut down after Labor Day and open up, sometime in the spring, which is pretty amazing when you consider what the business is like today.
Yeah.
But the business grew. They picked up the 7-Up franchise in the 1930s. The business grew and became substantial. And I was very disillusioned with what was happening with the space program, so I decided to accept the invitation to join. And glad I did. I learned a lot there.
Yeah. Well, so you got your degree, you did the bottling, and then something must have gone off in your head about 17 years into that career as a bottler, working in a bottling plant and working behind the scenes, and you decided to be a financial planner. Tell me about that.
Yeah, sure. Well, first thing, we sold the business in the 100th year that was in the family. So I no longer had employment. So I had to find it, and I spoke to my wife and kids, and let's not get stuck here in the cold Northeast. Let's go somewhere where it's nice and warm in the winter. So we ended up in San Diego for many years, and then finally here in Tucson.
And so you were in the financial planning career. There's a lot of us out here, and you must have been sitting down one night and you said, well, I need to figure out how much someone could take out of their portfolio and not run out of money. Is that how what was the thought process to come up with the 4% rule?
Much.
And what year was it?
Sure. That was I did research in 93 and published a paper in 94. And essentially what I was trying to answer was, what was the worst case situation in history? If you wanted to be ultra conservative and withdraw at a rate which guaranteed 30 years based on anything that's happened in the last 100 years, what would it be? Turned out to be about 4.15%. was the worst case, which applied to the person retired in October of '68 who ran into a buzzsaw market, bear markets, one after the other, and then terrible inflation, which was to increase their withdrawals.
We call that sequence of return risk when you retire into a bad environment like that. And
That's
so
right.
you tested those back in the 90s, and what surprised you most when you were doing this research on the 4% rule?
Well, I was surprised at first when I looked at the asset allocation. I wasn't sure how much you need in stocks and bonds. And when I ran the numbers, it clearly indicated you need a very substantial position stocks, 65% probably, and bonds not so much. If you go much higher than that stocks, you get hit with a bad bear market, you get devastated. If you go low and with more bonds, you won't have enough oomph in the portfolio to generate the returns you need to get the withdrawals.
Right. And when we say stocks these days, there's so many stocks, and people need to diversify properly, or they could pick the wrong stock and be bankrupt in 2 days if it's a bad stock. You see some of these stocks go like a rug pull, and they don't exist anymore. So how can someone make sure they're picking the right stocks to go along with the 4% rule?
Well, I think diversification is the key. Invest in funds broadly diversified across markets, across countries, across industries. Good high-quality funds. There are plenty of those. Most of them are index funds at very low cost, so that they are easy to swallow. You're not dealing with friction, commissions, and so forth. So it can be done. People today are very fortunate to have this available to them.
Now, when we hear about different rules of withdrawals that you can make sure to have a successful retirement, Susie Orman's saying 3%. I've even heard someone say, Dave Ramsey says 8%.
Uh-huh.
What are your opinion on those or that range? What do you think about that?
Well, I haven't sat down with either of them to discuss the basis of their feelings, but just looking at my own data, I use historical data. I basically reconstruct the portfolios of investors retiring in 1926 to date. I had seen nothing in history that indicates anything less than 4.7%, which is the new number, my updated number. And to get below that, we would have to have something like in the 60s and 70s again. If you remember, we just had terrible bear markets followed by years of high inflation. And I don't see that on the horizon yet, at least.
What's your opinion on the S&P 500? Is that a good, I know Vanguard has a really good one. VOO is a symbol. That's a pretty nice S&P 500 fund. What do you think about that one as far as being included in that portfolio to get this 4.7 you're talking about?
It probably makes sense to do that over the long term, although on the short term you're going to have to be careful because stocks are very highly valued and very concentrated in a few names, so that not always doesn't end well.
Now, you said you've been quoted that the 4% rule was never meant to be a law, more of a process. How should people use it today without locking themselves into a rigid number, I guess we say?
Yeah, I've identified in my book what I call 8 elements, which are basically assumptions that you can use to personalize your withdrawal plan. They include things like the planning horizon, how long you're planning to withdraw money, what type of account, taxable, non-taxable, do you plan to leave a balance at the end of the account for your heirs, and so on. There are those 8 factors. You get values for each of those, and then you can next step is take a look at stock market valuation and inflation. And using those 2 factors, I've got tables set up so people can just look up their number.
Nice. Now, folks, we're talking to Bill Bengen, and he is the founder of the 4% rule. And Bill, for retirees worried about inflation today, what's the best way to protect their spending power long term?
Well, that's a real concern. I always say that inflation is the greatest enemy of retirees. I think in the bond portfolio, they could use tips, significant exposure to tips. And I think also they want to invest in top quality companies that go through a rough period of time of inflation and come out okay. They've got pricing power.
This is more of a psychological question than a financial question, but do you think retirees today are more likely to run out of money or leave too much unspent out of fear?
The biggest problem I'm aware of is not spending enough. A lot of folks think that they can just spend off their interest and the dividends and live off that. That really constrains you tremendously. You have a much richer lifestyle. I imagine the heirs must be very pleased with that because that means they're going to get a lot of money. But that don't help the retiree much.
Bill, I had a client about 20 years ago, and I said, John, you're not spending much money. You've got all this money. He had millions of dollars. I said, you need to start spending it, having some fun because you're retired. And he said, that's a good point, Coach, because he had a friend who said if he doesn't spend it, his kids will go first class and spend all his money. So he still hadn't got that. He was still afraid to spend it, but his friend was putting pressure on him to start spending it because he said if you don't spend it, your kids will.
Yeah, there you go.
That's about what you were saying right there. What's the biggest misconception about your rule, and what do you like to clear up now, once and for all, that we're on the air? What do you think that people just don't understand about the 4% rule?
I think a lot of people think 4% or 4.7%, as I now phrase it, means that you take out 4.7% of your portfolio value every year, and that's not the system that the rule is based on. It's based on more like a Social Security system, where the first year you use your percentage. It's 4.7%. You have $1 million in an IRA. You take out $47,000. After the first year, you throw away that 4.7% and just simply give yourself a cost and a living adjustment like Social Security.
So you increase it a little bit every year, over and above that what it was. Okay, and even in a down market.
Yes, my methods are designed to get you through bear markets. I mean, one thing about bear markets, we know that they're nasty and they can reduce your withdrawal rate, but they don't last forever. They'll get us a recovery and you'll come back. So it shouldn't be too impatient when that happens.
Now, tell us about A Richer Retirement, a book you wrote, and what can readers expect, and how can they learn more about your latest research as well?
Sure. Well, my book is basically designed like a cookbook where people can go to it and find recipes for a way to construct a withdrawal plan during retirement using 10 basic fundamentals. And then my website, bengenfs.com, I have developing a whole library of scenarios that people can look up something that's close to their own situation in terms of the 8 elements, then possibly use that as a template for their own retirement plan.
You know, a lot of times I'll sit down with a couple, and one of the two in this couple will be very risk adverse, and the other one will be a very big risk taker. How do you deal with a couple like that?
Unfortunately, I don't have to deal with it anymore. I've been retired.
Back in the day, how'd you do that? How'd you deal with people?
It was tough to reconcile. You had to try and sit with them and sort out some of these financial issues. Some people are just very fearful of certain things. It's irrational, and there's not much can be done. Just reach a compromise if you can.
Now, finally, I want to wrap it up on a subject that a lot of people have heard about, because critics have said that 4% rule is obsolete after the 2021 to 2023 inflation shock. Is that fair, or is that fear-mongering that they're saying that?
No, it seems to have survived it okay. Now, of course, that's only a few years ago. We don't know what will happen over the next 10 to 15 years, which will have a lot to say about what happens to people retired back then. But right now, they're starting out okay. They got hit with a bear market, then they got a huge recovery, after that. So they're back in clover, I think.
We've been very, very lucky, haven't we, with these V-shaped recoveries we've had in the last 20 years?
Yeah, that's right.
Look at Japan. I mean, it took them forever to recover or get back on the right track, and that's the only thing that worries me, Bill. And I think that these days, though, I think the average investor is a lot more astute than they have been in the past. I think that's why they may help the recovery more than the stock companies themselves help the recovery, because people they have the fear of missing out. So when the stock goes down, they jump in and buy many times.
I'm not so sure. Yeah. But yeah, I agree with that.
Back in the day, they say, trying to buy a falling stock was like trying to catch a falling knife. Yeah. And that is true on some of these penny stocks that go down. But for the traditional...
broadly diversified fund, you're protected against individual business risk, and you should just be fine over the long term.
Well, folks, his name is Bill Bengen, and his book is Richer Retirement, and he is the inventor of the 4% rule. Bill, thanks for your time today.
Thanks for having me, Pete. Appreciate it.
And folks, we'll be right back after this.
What are your thoughts around long-term care?
I really like the concept. I've never liked the policies.
Yeah.
The policies haven't been good. I've been licensed to offer long-term care for over 30 years, and I've never offered a single standalone long-term care policy. Now, I have offered a lot of these new life insurance policies because they have the long-term care. They've got, well, let's say you don't need the long-term care. Turns into a tax-free death benefit.
Right.
Let's say you need income in retirement. If we set up right, you can get a tax-free retirement income from it. Life insurance is really the Swiss Army knife in the financial world.
Yeah, I think more people will be going towards the life insurance way because I own the traditional long-term care, and it's a great product. So I'm going to get benefits. I got a good one before, but the premiums have gone up.
Right.
Now we've been told they're not going to go up anymore.
That's what they always say.
I hope that's true. But the nice thing about the life insurance is that you've got this bucket of money. And if you need it, it's there. If you don't need it, you can take it back out as an emergency fund, or if you don't need it and you die, it goes tax-free to your kids. So it's a 3-in-1 type solution. I think that's going to fit a lot more people. But even people who are already can't buy that policy, they can't buy because they have medical problems, they have health, they can still get an annuity with a long-term care rider.
Yeah, that too. I mean, so you can always, there's always a way. Yeah, you can't take the first rejection and say, well, life stinks, I guess I'm going to have to be where I'm at. No, there's always alternatives, Tom. And so that's what we've specialized in the last 30 years, is finding the alternatives to get you where you need to be.
And that's why I think it's so important to work with a financial professional.
Hey guys, it's Parker Holland here, Chief Wealth Strategist at Capital Financial Advisory Group. We do a lot of case studies on the radio. You've seen us talk about it on our video series and TV shows, but we like doing real world examples. So we have a lot of people ask us, can you run the numbers for us? And they're even comfortable with us using them here on the board for you. This is a real study from a radio listener that came in, and we're not looking at the comprehensive plan here where we go tax, healthcare, Medicare, Social Security. We're looking solely at the income off their investments, because that's what we all save for. Bills and taxes never stop, but paychecks do. Like Coach Pete says, you got to replicate the income. So here's a real world example for a radio listener. They're currently 57 and 55. Husband and wife, spouse, doesn't matter what you're looking at. There's normally always an age difference most of the time, but they're looking at retiring in 7 years. So what we're looking at here, this will be age 62, and then of course with layover, overlap, this is going to be closer to 64. Now, they had about 1.4 million in retirement savings. Now, Wall Street is going to recommend that you take the younger spouse's age, subtract it from 100, and that's the risk versus safety. Unless they're more conservative, it can flip. Now, in this scenario, we don't run off a risk tolerance. Our plans and strategies are focused on income and standard of living. We want to make sure we're able to maintain the income they need. When we ran the numbers based on what they have and we back-sourced it, that put us at around $560,000 for their plan, and that's what I'm going to use here in this example. $560,000 with an A+ rated company. That's going to be a worst case scenario for our clients. So that means that no matter what the market does, they put in 560, we know it stays 560. What we're doing is, instead of holding an IRA or a retirement account with a custodian broker like Fidelity or Vanguard, we use insurers like Nationwide, North American, Athene, Allianz, A+ rated, and they all incorporate strategies and incentives, whether it's bonus percentages, dollar values. Well, here we're just talking about income. We're not focused on what the accounts are doing for bonus or incentive. We're focusing on what they generate. So worst case scenario, we want to know, no matter what the market does, what does that 560 get us? Targeting a 7-year window. Now, age of death, we normally do spreadsheets and 30-year models, but in this scenario, let's go a little farther because people are living longer. Let's go to age 97. That income received, worst case scenario, is going to be $60,000 a year. Now, that's off of the $560,000 number. This is assuming 0% returns, which means by age 97, there'll be no money left, but they're still getting the income. The spouse is, no matter who outlives who, or if they die at the same time, that standard of living is going to be met. We're not counting outside accounts. We're not counting Social Security. We're solely looking at that 560 alone. Now, we know we got bigger issues if the market does 0% every single day. So let's look at actual performance. 7 to 15% over the same life expectancy. We're not looking at a set rate of return here. This is where most calculators get in trouble. They run a fixed 7, 9, 10% number. The market doesn't do that every single year. The market fluctuates. It has years of negative 20, positive 20, 7, 15, 55. Let's just say it stayed between the historic averages over the next 40 years. That means that the income, instead of starting at 60,000, would start closer to 70,000. 57, 55, wait 7 years, what's it do? Well, that income is going to continue to grow every single year as well to 160,000 plus. That's inflation protection. But the goal is to live off the icing without touching the cake. What does this number grow to? Well, as I just mentioned, we're taking income, but our goal is to not drain principal. That's going to be over 3.7 million left for their heirs in that same period of time. These strategies are targeting growth, income, consistency without picking growth or safety. We're eliminating the focus in the standard norm and focusing on income yield so that the outside accounts, Social Security, everything else is icing on the cake. If you want your own plan or strategy or you want to see what your numbers do, give us a call, shoot us a text, go to our website and just poke us and let us know what you're looking for, and we'll give you your own exact numbers.
Invest in these meme coins unless you have a strategy to get in and get out real quick. Don't sit around when it goes up a little bit with your calculator saying, well, if it goes up to this amount, I'm going to be a multi-trillionaire.
Yes.
Of course, it's never going to get there and you're going to lose all your money. So if you've doubled your initial investment, sell half of what you put in, and now you're playing with the bookies money, we call it, because you've got all the money you invested back.
There you go.
Well, a whole lot easier to hold something long-term, Bruce, when it's not really costing you.
One of the big risks in retirement is sequence of returns risk.
Oh, yeah.
Americans do not understand that risk. So kind of, how do you explain it?
Well, basically, the day you retire is a very big day, and it can become a gigantic day if the market starts to go down that day. So now you're starting to take money out of your retirement. This is if you don't have a real plan put in place. A lot of you're trying to manage yourself. You're just going to take money out of the stock market accounts you have, and you're going to, supposedly, you have that 92% chance of being okay. But the market keeps going down. You keep taking money out as it goes down. The beauty of the stock market, if you have the time horizon on your side, is if a stock goes down and you really believe in it, you don't have to liquidate it. You hold it till it comes back up. If all that money in the stock market is money you need for retirement, you're going to have to start liquidating that money because you need it. So that's why we say keep that stock market money alone, build a force field around it with annuities. So have annuities give you the income of retirement and leave your stocks alone. Therefore, the stock market could do its thing. Stock market doesn't go up all the time. It doesn't go down all the time. But over time, it goes up if you have that time to leave it alone. Usually people buy high and sell low. That's what happens. But if you're selling low because you have to, because you need that income, you're not in the right place. You don't have a true retirement plan.
Yeah, and what's even worse is the more the market goes down, the more you have to sell.
Yes.
Because your shares are worth less and less, so you've got to sell more and more to get that in.
So you're locking in your losses.
And so people who retire into a down market, if they don't have a plan like you're talking about, they're just taking money out of the market, they have a very high risk of totally running out of money.
Yeah.
Versus somebody who retires into a bull market, they can take money out. They have a very high chance of success. It's just we don't know what's going to happen on the day we retire. So I call it good luck or bad luck. And I don't want to subject my retirement to good luck or bad luck. And that's why I have a plan like what you talk about.
That's the Vegas mentality. We don't have time in our retirement accounts to have the Vegas mentality.
Hey, it's Amanda here, back again with my friend, Coach Pete, and I am so excited to see you. We've really dived in 2025, looked at the good, the bad, and the ugly about my finances, and I mean, it was tough, I'm not going to lie, but now that we've gotten it going, I'm ready to start investing some money.
We started, you said, Coach, I want to get my finances back under control or under control for once or whatever you said.
Coach, I'm in debt. I'm in debt. We bought a house, we bought furniture, we bought all the stuff to go in the house, we bought new curtains and glasses and dishware. how am I going to start investing if I'm in debt?
So we put a plan together. And what did we do in January?
So in January, we started buying the debt down.
Yep.
And really started
Buying the
working
debt
on
down.
like the smallest ones and really paying those off. And I have thrown like every extra penny that I could possibly throw at it.
You took the highest interest rates. That's what we identified. Those are the big termites, the financial termites, high interest rates. Doesn't matter what the balance is.
Yeah. Well, and I had some furniture and stuff that was 0%. So I said, I'm going to wait, we'll get that last because it's 0%.
Don't wait to the last minute on that, though, because if you don't pay it on time, they're going to go back and charge you interest on from day one. And zonk you and put fees on there. So you need to pay that.
Wow.
And don't wait till like the day before. Make sure you pay that off like 30 days before they say that if you don't pay it, they're going to get you. Okay?
Financial termites.
Yes.
That's why you got to get a copy of his book. And I think for me, the next question is, what do I need to be focused on with, investing? Do I need to get into crypto? I'm trying to maximize Jackson's college savings account and then my Roth IRA. And it's a lot. Like honestly, it's hard for me to manage the day-to-day.
Instead of jumping right into crypto, like getting your own Coinbase account, some of the brokerages like Fidelity and stuff have their own Bitcoin account. So they're investing in Bitcoin for you, so you don't have to go through all that. You just invest in their ETF, it's called, like a mutual fund. And IBIT is one of the ones you get in that you can own crypto without having to go through all that crypto game. IBIT is a symbol. It's doing pretty well since it's come out. So look at that. You shouldn't despair. You've done a good job of paying some of that debt off, getting that high interest rate out of the way. We've already talked today. We had a great conversation because now you realize that if you owe even 1 penny on that zero financing for 36 months, they're going to go back and get you interest for every single dollar they loaned you. And I explained some of this in my book here, the big book on retirement. I go in further detail in the second book I ever wrote. I've written 19 now, but the second book I wrote was the fine print fiasco, what they don't want you to know when you buy, borrow, and invest. And so if you call now, if you're watching this and you want to get a copy of both of these books, we'll send them to you at no cost or obligation. All you have to do is call the number you see on the screen. Or let's give the number out right now.
Yes, 919-794-7900. Or text Amanda to 600-700.
Now, let's talk taxes for a minute, because taxes right now are historically low. What should people be doing about their tax situation or retirement?
Just came out with a book this year. It's over 250 pages called Tax Savvy Retirement. And so who cares how much you have if it's going to get killed by the tax man? If you have a big piece of cheese, it turns into Swiss cheese really quick before you would see it. So we need to make sure there's ways that we can isolate some money from the tax man. There's some special tax balancing we could do. If you have a big gain and a loss, we'll sell the loss and sell the gain and come with that, take that money and now you have a tax-free, basically. So there are a lot of tax strategies out there that are overlooked, underutilized, and should be used all the time to put people in control of their retirement.
Let's dig a little deeper into that, because Roths play a big role in that.
Love the Roth.
And cash value life insurance can play a big role. Talk about some of the ways that you can get people tax-free income.
Yeah, well, the Roth is a good one, but the problem is the more money you make, the less you can qualify for it. So what I found, I call it Roth times 2, is the life insurance industry. Yeah. And matter of fact, if you haven't had your life insurance policy, if you have one, if you haven't had it analyzed in the last 5 years, you need to, because some of the life insurance companies, matter of fact, the biggest ones, the A-rated ones and above, have come up with something called a living benefit rider on your life insurance accounts. If you have a new policy, you may have that. If you don't, you really need to get it looked at, and you need one, because what this lets you do, Tom, lets you take your death benefit out while you're still here to pay for long-term care. So there's no need for a long-term care policy anymore if you have a life insurance policy. And the beautiful thing about a permanent life insurance policy is once you qualify, they can never kick you out. They can never raise your rates. You can even pay your policy off. So you could be sitting on an asset you don't even know. If you have a life insurance policy right now that doesn't have this, you're costing yourself a lot of money.
Yeah. I've moved more of my personal wealth to cash value life insurance. My premium was $226,000 a year on a 12-pay life policy, but all that money and more is sitting in there that I can take out tax-free. And it's 100% creditor protected. That matters to business owners.
That's gigantic. That's huge. I mean, who wants to work all your life to build something only to be sued away with it? I mean, if people can attack you these days when they see that big, fat, juicy wallet you have, you're going to be a big target.
Here we are again, chapter 5 of the big book on retirement. I'm Thomas Lipscomb here alongside the author himself, Coach Pete D'Arruda. Here we are developing spending discipline. And I want, each of your chapters here, Coach, you start off with a quote. I wanted to bring this one up. It says, it's not your salary that makes you rich, it's your spending habits.
Yeah, and this is budgeting.
Yeah, it is.
And I don't like to call it a budget. I like to call it a spending plan. Yeah. So let's write down, how do you figure out how much you're spending now? Well, you can look at your credit cards and your checkbook and see all the stuff added up. Or you can write everything down when you spend. That gets kind of tedious. Keep the receipts, scan them in your computer, that kind of thing. But then you come up with rough estimates about how much it's costing you to enjoy your lifestyle now. This is when you're working. And so that when you retire, we can have a judgment about what you're going to spend in retirement. So if you like to go out to eat on the weekends, you're probably going to start going out to eat more on weekdays when you're retired, because every day's a weekend. So we need to factor that in.
That's good.
And the whole reason why we save and put money, our money gets taken hostage by the 401k or 403bs or TSPs, because you give it, you can't get it back out. It's hostage. So we have a hostage situation. And we reach retirement, it's time to start rescuing those hostages. They start getting freed. That's money coming back to you. And then you say, well, gosh, we should have put more hostages away, right? So the more money you can put away now, the more you're going to have.
You develop it. It's funny because it reminds me of
sandcastles. It took a bunch of buckets of sand to get a big castle, but I mean, without that first bucket, you didn't have a chance of the castle. And so the better the foundation, the more secure it was too. Take the same approach in the financial world. Firm foundation, lifetime income, put you in control, minimize or eliminate fees, commissions, expenses, and too much risk. And as we get into retirement, we want to be in control of our money, not really good retirement you deserve.
There you go. Yeah, it makes a whole lot of sense, folks. Go ahead and call right.
Put together, it's autopilot, folks. Let's put you in that retirement autopilot.
I love it. Get that confidence, folks. Call Coach Pete and his fiduciary team. Coach Pete and his fiduciary team. As he said,
you can see them at any time by signing up at CoachPete.com. We'll see you there.
Everybody's putting their money in 401ks, but long term, that can be a problem.
Well, a lot of them are orphan 401ks. What that means is you work for a company. People don't work for a company 30 or 40 years these days. They work for a company for 4 or 5 days, sometimes, or 4 or 5 years, and then to go to a different company. So they leave their 401ks behind. So we call this splintering or orphaning. So what we've done is we open up a super IRA, and we roll all the different 401ks in there. Now you have them all in one place. And they're a lot better investment options when you have the own personal IRA than the 401ks. 401ks usually give you maybe 10 to 30 different options. Whereas your own super IRA, you can have 5,000 or more different options. So you have a lot more choices. You can even pull in Ethereum if you don't want just Bitcoin. There's ones that have a collection, like a basket of them. So check with your financial advisor or do your own there. If it does go away, you didn't lose the fortune. There, if it does go away, you didn't lose the fortune.
Right. And now there's even a Bitcoin short. So if you don't believe in Bitcoin, you can buy something that if it goes to zero, you're like your million headed out to zero. So, and just so you know, once Bitcoin went up, what is my risk? My risk is that it goes back down. And so I bought some of the short just to hedge against it going down. I hope it goes to zero, I hope the hedge goes to zero. But if Bitcoin goes to zero, I'll make.
So you're protected on both sides.
On both sides.
That's when once you start winning the game, you win the game, and you're winning Monopoly, right? You have Park Place and Boardwalk right now. You can build all the houses you want.
Right.